E.T. phone home.
I'm just having some brewski beers in my Mojo Dojo Casa house.
Wendy, I'm home.
There is no place like home.
I'm home!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the House of Cinema podcast. I am your host, Joe Aragon. With me today, as always, Claira Curtis and Sydney Volpe. And in the house today, it's a big one.
Yeah.
We're talking Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. First, some house rules. Zeus's Law first.
Oh.
Let me go over that very quickly. One, spoilers ahead. This episode will contain major spoilers for The Odyssey, so there's your warning. That is the only house rule I have. For being completely honest. That is Zeus's Law of today's episode.
Treat others how you want to be treated.
Hospitality is today's theme. Sid, we're going to just jump straight into this.
Oh my God, let's do it.
Doing, but I guess, well, one, how are you feeling now? You've seen The Odyssey one time, correct?
Uh-huh.
How are you feeling?
This is interesting because you guys, we're all in different places here. You guys saw The Odyssey a few days ago, super early. Yeah. Joe saw it again yesterday, and I saw it for the first time yesterday. So I'm still marinating. I'm still buzzing from even just having discovered what we've been anticipating for so long and just sort of thinking about it. And so that's how I'm doing. I'm thinking about The Odyssey. I'm grappling
we're all
with
different pieces of steak and in different processes and kind of stages of our cook, right? You've been cooked for a while now, a couple days at least. You're well done steak,
Yeah,
Claira.
but today's Tuesday. We saw it on Saturday.
So you're 3 days cooked.
Yeah.
Sid, you're 20 hours cooked.
I'm rare.
You're rare, and I've been cooked twice.
You've been
cooked twice. You've been
I've
basted,
been
put in the oven
on the kitchen counter
to broil or something
under a piece of foil for quite some time. That's how many times. That's how I feel right now.
Okay.
Wow,
Steak
that was
metaphor.
a good
Awesome.
metaphor.
I thought it worked out pretty well. What was your not expectations going into the Odyssey, but just how were you feeling going into the movie?
So excited. I have been I feel I don't know. We've all been so excited, but I feel like I have from the get-go just truly believed in the Odyssey being what we are hoping it would be. And I have thoughts on how, in whether and in what ways it ended up being that. But I just had I wasn't cautiously optimistic. I didn't have reservations. I was fully just a believer going in. And I was so excited for this experience because it was my first 1570 IMAX movie. Really, because I have seen movies in IMAX, but it was dual laser projection and not 70 millimeter film. So this has just been a fun experience for me. Generally,
a little bit of an odyssey for yourself.
A little bit of an odyssey for myself because there was a 3-hour trek to Indianapolis to see it on film there. So yeah, I feel
Did you run into any sirens on the way?
I did not see any sirens, but dude, there was kind of a creepy part of it because it's the Midwest. I haven't spent a ton of time in the Midwest, and there's this big stretch where there are just there are hundreds of wind turbines everywhere, and at night they're all just red lights blinking at you in the darkness.
Scylla was watching you as
it was I was being
traveling,
watched.
huh?
So yeah, spooky. So I was just totally gung-ho for this personally. What about you guys? Yeah.
Claire, where are you sitting with this? You're not your expectations, but just kind of where you were at going into it. And I guess also we should talk about your relationship, all of our relationships to Nolan as a filmmaker. Are you a Nolan guy or not?
Oh, yeah. I am very much a Nolan guy. The only other director I own more of their films of is Miyazaki, but Nolan's work, I own almost all his films on physical at this point. The Dark Knight is one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm a big Nolan guy, which I think was really affirmed prepping for the Odyssey because we've just been rewatching so much of his stuff, and even the stuff where I'm oh, this is weaker Nolan, I'm still 4 stars. It's amazing. And so
Mr. Nolan is better than a lot of people's entire filmographies.
Literally. So yeah, I'm a big Nolan fan. I was thinking actually about how when we did our Disclosure Day episode, we had that little conversation about how, like, oh, if someone came up to you on the street and said, like, name 10 of your favorite directors right now, if Spielberg would be in that list or not. And Sydney and I both said probably no. And I think you said yes, Joe.
I think it would be.
But, like,
Post-Disclosure Day, I'm not sure anymore. But,
But like Nolan would easily be on that list for me.
Oh,
like
fascinating.
he would probably, like, again, like Miyazaki would probably be like my number one mention, and then it would probably go to Nolan, I would think.
Wow.
So I
so
love
what does that
them.
mean for the Odyssey?
The Odyssey, I was really excited for. I was like buzzing before, like super stoked. Definitely really looking forward to it because it's also just like so. It's funny because it's very much in his wheelhouse to a certain extent. It's very much like a story about a man who longs to be back with his wife and just like the turmoil of that and the turmoil of your actions, which is very in line with his work in general. But it's also very different in that, like, Nolan's work is so often fantastical through like a sci-fi lens, and this is very much not that. This is very mythical. It's very magical. It's fantastic. Like, it's a very different sort of fantasy from him. And so I was really curious to see what that would look like and how does that translate. Obviously, there's just been a lot of excitement of like they built a brand new camera to make this movie.
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
crazy. Like we've really not lived through anything like this personally. So it's exciting to see this progression for him.
When's the last time Nolan made a small movie? Because the last like what 3 or 4 films he's made, he's been kind of like, I'm the big movie guy. I make big, epic, grand cinematic films. When's the last time you made a movie that was small?
Probably Memento.
Memento? In
Memento.
2000?
Like,
Like
would you-
Insomnia was before Memento.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The Prestige is
The
like,
Prestige?
I guess,
Oh,
slightly
yeah.
smaller scale than
Yeah, I mean,
jumping
like,
into Batman
post-Prestige,
Begins.
though, it goes, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Inception, Dark Knight Rises, Dunkirk, Interstellar. Like, we're talking like massive films.
Yeah.
And this is very much in line with that. You're right. He's built a new IMAX camera to make this movie. So no apprehensions about the Odyssey leading up to it. Like, you saw trailers. You never were like, ooh, I'm nervous. This is not going to be something I'm going to vibe with at all.
No, I mean, sometimes like trailers can be a little tricky, but I think what made me feel really settled was even before I think I saw the proper trailers for the Odyssey, there was the prologue that they showed.
Oh, yeah,
what was
yeah.
that before? What was that before?
What movie was that before?
Was it Project Hail Mary?
Ooh, I don't remember. That might be right.
It had to have been something massive. Wait, no,
Yeah, because
No,
that
but
was the
early
big
and I didn't
IMAX.
see-
Oh, Avatar. Was it Avatar?
No, was it?
Last
No.
year's Avatar? Yes,
Yes,
it was.
it
Yes,
was.
yes, it was
Really?
Avatar.
Okay.
Because I remember that played, and then they also showed the Chris Evans Doomsday teaser, and there were 2 very different reactions.
Yeah. Oh,
yes, and we
yeah,
talked
I
about
remember
that.
that.
Wait,
We talked
oh my
about everyone was like
God,
hyped for the Dune prologue or
Okay.
the
It's crickets.
Odyssey prologue, and then everyone was like, "Well, this is Doomsday."
Everyone was like, what the fuck?
What did they call it? What'd you call it? The prescription medicine ad?
Oh, the fucking Mylanta or whatever. I don't even
Oh,
remember.
yeah.
Yes, that was funny.
Sharkeezy or something like that. I can't remember.
Some
the name.
drug name.
Some drug name. Yeah.
But
yeah.
yes.
Sky Rizzy.
so-
Sky Rizzy.
Sky Rizzy.
Sky
Rizzy.
Rizzy,
Thank you.
yes, yes, yes.
Sharkeezy.
Sharkeezy.
That was close.
Parcheesi.
Closer than you think.
Parcheesi. Yeah.
Yeah, so seeing that, yeah, yes, wow, last December, like really made me feel confident because it was just such an impressive thing just in the, like, even without the context of where that scene actually falls in the film itself, it's like you watch it and you're just like, holy shit, this is going to be massive. And then it was.
Turns out it is massive.
Yeah,
Funny
it
enough,
was.
that scene, probably like the least interesting scene out of every scene in
I
the movie.
know, which is like fascinating actually.
Which we'll get into, obviously, all the big scenes in the film.
What about you though? What are your feelings before? Like, what's going on?
I don't think any of us here were detractors of the Odyssey. I don't know if I went in like nervous, like, oh no, Nolan can't adapt a mythological tale. He's so sci-fi pilled. He can't do this. I believe in Nolan. I trust Nolan. After Oppie, which was also very different,
Yeah.
it's something that he doesn't really do. I think I was very, this is going to be, I trust Nolan to do his thing. I was more concerned about the adaptation process and like, I hope this isn't just a straightforward adaptation of the Odyssey, which is fine. We can have that conversation if you guys want to about what makes a good adaptation. Is a good adaptation something that word for word, shot for shot is taking the text and putting it to screen, or is a good adaptation someone who interprets the text in a way that he sees is interesting and translates that to film?
The second one.
I think it's the second one as well.
Me too.
But some people would argue, well, the first interpretation is how you should do it. And we got that, when Project Hail Mary came out, there was a lot of discussion of like, well, it doesn't adapt this scene or this scene or this scene. But
There's no me burgers.
So like, does that make it a good or bad adaptation? You can argue until you're blue in the face. But I was more concerned about that. How is he going to take this obviously very famous tale that we're all familiar with to some degree and translate it to screen? And after seeing the movie, I'm not worried at all, obviously. We're going to get into how we feel about the movie, but I think we're all feeling very positive about it.
Yeah.
Sid, you've been the quietest so far about it.
But we do need to backtrack because we added the what's your relationship to Nolan
Yeah,
thing
and
after
I
Sydney
didn't
talked. So
That's
say
true.
that.
That's
Yes.
true. That's true. Yeah. So otherwise, Nolan though, big Nolan guy. My least favorite Nolan is still a good movie. I do find, I don't know like what intersection of Nolan I'm standing at, and that I love The Dark Knight. We're gonna get into rankings later as well.
Yeah.
Love Oppie, love Interstellar. I mean, I love everything, but like I do like when he is a little bit more. I like when he's a softie. I do like when he's a softie. He's not a softie often, but when he is a softie, like we're talking like Interstellar softie. That's
Yeah.
where I'm like really.
That's the sweet spot for you.
For me, it is. But there are the movies where they're much more technical, maybe more stoic, that I do enjoy as well. So, but the point is, I'm a big Nolan guy.
Yeah.
So when in this movie, zero expectations, felt very good going into it, felt very good coming out of it. We don't need to, we don't need to, and nor do we want to get in the conversation of like nothing about, and I want to make this very clear, nothing about the cast or anything like that bothered any of us.
No.
Oh, of course not.
Not even remotely. I feel like I shouldn't have to make that clear, but in the case this episode falls in the wrong Chud's hands, you're in the wrong spot, by the way. No part of me was ever worried about the casting of this film.
In fact, I found all the casting incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
Opposite of that, in that like every time they announced a new person involved, I was like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
So let's make sure that's very clear, because this episode's going to come out earlier than normal, and you never know who finds it. So
True.
Now that's out in the air.
Okay.
Sid, your Nolan relationship?
My Nolan relationship, I think, has changed a lot over the past week or two, because I watched through Nolan's entire filmography, except for Insomnia. I haven't rewatched Insomnia yet. And I did realize, like, I think in all of his films, there's that element where he's like a really earnest softy. And I do find that there are some of his films that I connect emotionally to more than others. And I think people have like different films in his filmography that they're like, oh, Dunkirk is so moving. And then people are like, I don't know. Like, I didn't really like get on board with that whole thing.
Interesting impersonation there.
Well, I think a lot of people do find Dunkirk very moving. And I think a lot of his films have themes of like collectivism and like caring about your fellow man and like seeing the individual, and that's very present in the Odyssey. But yeah, I just feel like I like understand him more as a filmmaker after going through his filmography. And when you watch a lot of a filmmaker's movies in a row, you start to pick up on their little quirks, and you start to see how all the themes are intersecting in different projects of theirs. And so that was really cool to do before the Odyssey, because I feel like there's just like so much of his previous work present in this film. But I love Christopher Nolan. Like, there are at least 5 or 6 of his films that I think are near masterpieces. I just think he's like the greatest.
5 or 6, huh?
Wow.
Maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. I'd have to look at my ranking again.
At the very end, we'll go over our rankings and kind of give a 1 to 2 sentence why we think this one's better than the other one, or why this one works for us. Is Nolan the premier filmmaker right now, in the sense of like not only making movies that are movies that feel cinematic, that feel compelling, that feel like you need to see them in a theater, but is he also like the most in-demand director? Is he the most attractive director in the sense that he's appealing to almost every demographic in a way? is he kind of hitting every plot, every quadrant of the 4-quadrant film as a director?
Ooh, is he though? Because like, is it fair to argue to a certain extent he's still kind of pegged as like the film bro kind of director?
Well, that's where the conversation is going.
Yeah.
Because I think you could argue 5-7 years ago, maybe he was like the quote unquote film bro director. Everyone loves The Dark Knight, and that's how they get into movies, and they don't really explore anything further than that. But has he evolved past that point? Because can you argue Nolan is now like he has that? Does he have that universal appeal to your more hardcore cinephiles, but also to the guy who goes to movies twice a year? Is he that guy now? Or if it's not him, is there anyone that's more in demand than Christopher Nolan?
It's a good question, because I do think that his reputation is shifting a little bit right now, and that we went through like the Dark Knight and like Interstellar, I think was a big like, oh, that's like the film bro movie. Like guys love to like say that they like get Interstellar or whatever, and all the sci-fi stuff is like super intriguing in that way. But I think Oppenheimer was such a big moment in Nolan's career, because that was such like a sophisticated film that I think just like hit people really hard, that in ways like beyond it being like a puzzle box thing. Which I do think there's more to his previous films than that. I'm just saying that was kind of his reputation, is that, oh, his movies are so confusing and mind-bending.
I think
and
that's very fair. Like for a long time, he was pegged as the guy who was making sci-fi movies with a twist. Like, what's going to be the big twist in this Nolan movie?
Mm-hmm.
The Prestige, Interstellar, Inception, Tenet. Tenet was, the movie before Oppenheimer. I think it was still kind of shedding that reputation of, I'm not just the sci-fi guy with a twist anymore. And I think you're right. I think Oppenheimer was kind of like breaking that mold.
Right. And now the Odyssey, I think, is doing it even more. So yeah, I think when you talk about in-demand directors, the only other director I can think of who's making movies on this scale that everyone like knows and will be talking about is James Cameron. But I don't even know.
I was not even thinking that name.
I wasn't either.
Well, but I don't even know if when James Cameron starts making movies that aren't Avatar again, people will feel that way about Cameron as a director, independent of Avatar.
I think he's going to have a interesting Spielberg comparison.
Yeah.
And that once he does venture outside Avatar and is doing whatever he wants to do, the mantra of don't doubt Big Jim might start to dissolve a little bit. And it might be one of those things where, like, we know younger audiences are driving the numbers at theaters right now. Do they care about Big Jim in the same way that we care about Big Jim? I don't really know. But I think, well, let me hear what you think, because there's one other director that I think is maybe in demand as much or possibly more.
Is it Denis?
Is Denis.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I think with Dune, that's really elevated him to a very new level. And it shows, again, like, if you look at his earlier work, he can do stuff that's maybe a little more gritty and grounded, but also these massive scale fantasy films, which is a big shift in some ways. So I would argue they're probably like the two
neck
in
and neck
competition.
right now.
That is so but I have like bad object permanence with like how much people love Denis Villeneuve. Like they ride so hard for him.
They do.
They
and like
really
for almost any of his like most 5 recent films, you can find a lot of shooters for them. Whether that be Blade Runner 2049, whether that be Dune, whether it be
Arrival.
Prisoners, Arrival. Like there is a populist camp, like they're like, yeah, that's my favorite Denis movie. And I think that he is, Denis, Nolan are neck and neck, as in like those are the two directors that are gonna get people out into seats right now.
Yeah.
I think that Nolan is bigger than Denis. I think that Nolan kind of transcends like the film space more as like a household name. Probably just because he's been around longer, and he
That's
did
fair.
the
Yeah,
Batman trilogy, which I think was like so huge, obviously. But after Dune, I do think Denis will be really big. I think Christopher Nolan is like a much more interesting filmmaker, personally, but
Okay.
I guess not
all right.
everyone feels that way.
hey, let's not pit two queens against each other
That's
right now.
true. I do love him.
We can do that when Dune 3 comes out.
Okay.
Or for our 2026 year recap, we can kind of pit the two movies
Do
together.
a full Duke
Ooh,
out.
dude, the
with
Is there
Dune
anyone
Odyssey
else?
thing is hard.
Anyone else?
The Russo brothers?
No.
Every time there's a
Coogler.
big
Ah.
oh, Coogler's
Coogler.
big.
Yeah.
I'd say
Coogler's
Gerwig.
good.
Like
Gerwig's
she's had some big projects lately that everyone's talking about. I think the Narnia thing's gonna be like big, like a
Huge.
big thing
Yeah.
when it's coming out.
Especially if they do prioritize a theater experience for that
Right.
movie.
Right.
Which it
Which
sounds like they're going to
They
do.
are, yeah. That's why they keep moving it.
Yeah.
The tricky thing though is like, even if you look at Gerwig and Coogler, who are like so much more in demand now, like their filmographies are so much smaller compared to like Nolan and
Right.
Villeneuve. Like they're on a very different level in that output.
By the way, I was joking about the Russo brothers.
I know. Don't
Oh,
worry.
I didn't
I
even
have
catch
to
that.
work. I have to operate under the assumption right now that this episode is going to be a little bit more popular, and we'll get more eyes and ears
Some
on
new
our
listeners.
voices.
Hi,
And they're like,
everybody.
"Whoa, this guy just said the Russo brothers in demand," being facetious.
Or
I
they're about to go,
don't-
whoa, why is he saying it facetiously?
Well, regardless of how we feel about the Russo brothers, I mean, people know them, and
Yeah.
them
People do know
directing
them.
Doomsday is a big part of why people are excited for that movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not entirely wrong to say that people are excited for Doomsday, and a part of that might be because the Russo brothers are.
But they
attached to
can
it.
only
Yeah.
do one thing. Like
That's the
every
thing.
time,
They're so limited.
very
yes.
clearly, and they can barely do it. For being completely honest.
What's the matter, MCU guy? Can't make a good movie that's not Avengers Endgame.
I don't know if there's anyone else. I'm trying to think. Most in-demand directors, Cameron. I don't even consider Spielberg in that same echelon anymore.
No, because I mean, I think we see more and more now, like the old guard, despite how well known they are and how influential they are, it's harder for them to get their movies made nowadays.
Yeah.
And so
It's
it's like, I
true.
think that is very relevant to think about.
Tarantino.
That guy's not working.
I mean, he's not
gives a
working,
shit?
but if like let's say a week from today, Tarantino goes, "Here's my new movie, and here's a trailer for it," I think that name would call a lot of people back to the theater.
I think he's a little boy who cried wolf right now, to be honest. Like, I think every time he says anything about what he's doing, people are like, okay, dude, I'll believe it when I see
Well,
it.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is
But
aside
yeah,
from
if
the
there
fact that
were,
like, what he's
like,
actually doing, and his whole
confirmed-
antics. But
Right.
yeah, if there was a confirmed, here's a trailer, here's a poster, I think that would bring people out. Fincher?
Fincher's tough though, because like his more recent stuff has been so like,
Yeah.
Netflix?
yeah,
They're just like a different tier, I feel like.
Oh man, maybe it's just me who's just screaming for more Fincher.
No, I mean I am too. I want more of him,
But a lot of people who I think typically would be riding hard for a new Fincher film aren't super excited for the Cliff Booth movie.
Well, I wonder if his relationship with Netflix has soured a lot of people's perspective on him.
But The
I think
Killer was
so.
so good.
The Killer was
this
great,
Killer was awesome.
but I'm wondering, is a Killer better if it was in 60,000 theaters in the biggest screen possible, and that's how you had
Right.
to watch it.
That's the thing. Instead of at home in your living
versus
room.
at home in your living room while someone's on their phone.
Yeah. It's a generational thing. I think Nolan has managed to hang on in like a bit. Like, I think Nolan is sort of like the Spielberg equivalent of like this time. His movies are just so huge.
Well, that was my second question. Is
Okay.
we talked about how Spielberg has kind of lost the interest of younger crowds. We saw what happened with Disclosure Day. Is it fair to say Nolan hasn't lost that crowd, or in fact the opposite, has continued to gather a lot of momentum from younger people to go to see his movies? And why do you think that is?
I think honestly, I think a lot of it is like kind of accredited to Barbenheimer, in that like that was like a foundational summer blockbuster experience for a lot of people, but I think especially young people, that's going to like really cement itself as a memorable part of their relationship to film.
You'll never forget where you're at when Barbenheimer happened.
Yes, exactly. And so like I think that has really elevated him in a way that's so unique, because in theory, like Oppenheimer shouldn't have appealed to so many young people. It's like a historical fictional like drama where these are guys talking about making a nuke, and it's like that's crazy, but it was so well received, and I think that's really invigorated the younger audience to engage with his work more.
I think that's very true. Yeah, that's a great point. I think the Barbenheimer thing was, just like culturally, it got so many people. It reinvigorated the Nolan craze, I think. Like, what if Barbie didn't exist and Barbenheimer didn't exist, what would the reaction to Oppenheimer be? I think that's like a crazy alternate universe to.
It's a very interesting thought
think about.
experiment to do.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Also, I want to point out Barbenheimer has its own wiki page, which is
Really?
significant.
That's crazy.
Cultural phenomenon with their own wiki page is a big deal.
Whoa.
I think that plays a huge part in it. I think that younger audiences, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, have expressed not just an interest in watching movies, but they've shown an interest in like how these movies are made. The big Coogler example of him explaining how Sinners was shot was a really big indicator that young people care. And then you get someone like Nolan who comes around and he clearly is putting so much passion in his filmmaking, revealing he's making these new cameras, they're shooting on location, you're getting all these details behind the scenes. And I think young people care about that stuff. And like that's a big deal to them. And I think that continues to drive a lot of young people to Nolan.
That's a great point, because like you do see it too online with like younger film conversation. There's this perpetual like aching for like, let's return to film, let's return to Technicolor. Like there's all these Sid just did a great video on that. There's just this constant like longing for terminology that's maybe been phased out of the current movie making industry, but like Nolan in many ways is trying to preserve a lot of that. And I think young people especially are probably gravitating towards that,
Which is so cool, isn't it? I told you guys that when getting the rental car to drive up to see the Odyssey, the young kid that was like doing the paperwork or whatever, he was raving about Obsession. So he was very like, oh, I love horror movies, and like I think Hereditary is like the scariest movie ever, and I really liked Obsession. And we told him we were seeing the Odyssey, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm like a watching movies at home person, but the Odyssey, I'm definitely gonna go to the theater. Like I feel like you just like have to go see that at the movies.
What
And I was like,
what would you guess the age of this person is?
Like mid-20s.
Okay.
Wow, and his default is I like watching movies
early
at home.
20s.
That is interesting.
Yeah, which
Fascinating.
I think makes a lot of sense. Like if you're not, because it's so easy to just watch stuff on streaming now. But
Well,
I'm just saying that the whole like IMAX like format thing is reaching literally everyone, and I think young people are really caring about the theatrical experience in the way that it's like if the movie's like convincing them that they have to see it in that way. And we've talked about it. That's why the industry is leaning so hard into format as a reason why you need to see things in theaters, because it kind of feels like the only way you can get people to go nowadays, even young people, unfortunately.
yeah, I also need to like step outside my California bubble and remember that people live in
true.
places that don't have easy access to a theater within 2 minutes of their home.
Right.
Whether that be, 70 millimeter IMAX or just a theater in general.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I hear like, oh, I like watching movies at home, my knee-jerk reaction is like, what are you talking about? Why would you ever want to do that?
Yeah.
But I have to remind myself not everyone has these access to theaters like I do.
Exactly.
It's a privilege
Right.
that I fortunately have. So like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But it's young people are going to movies, whether that be format, whether that be a director.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I'm really curious to see how the Odyssey does. Well, maybe we'll do a prediction later today about like what we think it'll make.
We did last episode.
We can
We-
also
Or 2
predict.
episodes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, we did predict money, and I think we could also predict Rotten Tomatoes because we're recording it before that actually comes out.
Oh, yeah, the
Here's
embargo
the thing.
list
Do
tomorrow.
we care about the Rotten Tomatoes? Look, again, for the new people listening, Rotten Tomatoes not in a unanimous indicator of a movie's quality.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting if you know how to use it and know how it works. Just get an insight in the psychology of people. That being said, sure, we can guess like what critic score. I think it'll be like 92.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe like 89.
What do you think, Clara?
I'll split the difference and I'll go 90.
Okay.
Okay.
89, 90, 92. Audience score, don't care.
None of
Oh
our
yeah,
business.
audience score, I don't care. I bring it up because the first reactions to the Odyssey were so positive. Like
Yeah.
this might be one of the greatest movies ever made. Like it's Nolan's masterpiece, blah blah blah. And yesterday was like the big wave of press screenings, and the reactions are a little more mixed. And I think that I'm curious I'm like feeling less confident in my assertion that this will make $1 billion now, just because I think the movie is like a little weird. I don't think it's exactly what people think it's going to be. And I wonder if reactions are going to come out that aren't as glowing, unanimously glowing as Oppenheimer. And not everyone loved Oppenheimer, obviously. But I wonder if that will impact how many people are going out to see it, or if that won't be enough to affect the whole, like, it's Nolan, it's the Odyssey, it's epic, it's the first movie completely shot in IMAX, which we haven't mentioned yet, which I think is like insane that we're like witnessing that happen for the first time. So we'll see, but I don't think this will be as positively received as Oppenheimer.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't either.
That also begs the question of how much influence does the quote unquote critics have on box office numbers, which it all boils down to word of mouth at this point in stage with the prevalence of social media. You see movies like Obsession and Backrooms, which yes, have positive reviews, but I don't think they're like positive reviews are driving people to see it. I think it's simply my friends are all watching it and they all love it.
Yeah.
What kind of word of mouth does the Odyssey have might be the better question. Is this going to be something that like people watch, even if they don't love it? If they go home, they're like, I liked it a lot. I didn't like love it, but I liked it a decent amount, but I really enjoyed my experience with it. That is going to be kind of like the big indicator of whether or not this movie is going to do really well at the box office.
And are people going to see it more than once?
I mean, they partnered with Letterboxd on that
The punch card thing.
That's right.
I punched it twice, 2 different formats.
Look at you go.
So I'm feeling pretty good.
How do you even do
But
that?
that's like
I gotta figure that out.
When you
There's a
go to
bu-
the-
it's a little bar on the Odyssey page.
You just click like the
okay, I
banner, and
see.
it
Yeah.
pulls up the punch card, and you just click what you saw it in.
Cool.
But it is interesting because it's like, that's like almost like gamifying, like going multiple times, which people gravitate towards these days. But again, like that relates back to like the idea of like it's not that easy for a lot of people to go to the theater once, like in certain areas. And so it is interesting that that's part of the lean in is like, oh, like go multiple times and see it in different formats. But like the average person isn't able to see it in maybe more than 2 formats if they're lucky.
If they're lucky.
A lot of people feel resentful of that marketing because they feel like it's it's a privilege to be able to see it in multiple formats, and they're like, well, now I feel like you're telling me I'm gonna have a worse experience if I'm not seeing it in real IMAX and all of that.
I don't know if that's exactly the takeaway people should have, but I understand the takeaway.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a valid feeling to feel. Okay,
Okay.
you guys ready for this?
I'm
ready.
scared.
Okay, here we go. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. This will be a nice little chapter in our YouTube page. This is where we start
You hear that,
talking about The
Spotify?
Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Spotify, half hour in. Now we're talking about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Very simple question for you guys.
Okay.
What did you guys think of The Odyssey?
I'll go first.
Let's hear it.
Please do.
I really liked it. I didn't love it, but I think that's more of it was just my first time experiencing it, and it's such a massive movie. The cast is insanely stacked. There's so many different characters. They're going to different places. Like it's an Odyssey for a reason. And it's just so
Get
much
that joke
to
counter
take in.
out for
Yeah,
how many times you make an Odyssey joke.
take a shot every
Titular
time as
Odyssey.
long as you're at home and safe and not driving.
Not while you're driving.
But it's just such a massive movie, and there's just so much to take in and to think about. And I'm honestly glad we're recording like several days after watching it, because I've really let it settle, and I've revisited more of Nolan's work since I saw the Odyssey, and in a way like that's elevated it higher for me too. Is just I was revisiting work of his that I haven't seen in a very long time, and you can see fully, I think, in the Odyssey where he's pushing himself to go next as a filmmaker. And I think that's really exciting to see. Like I said, this is very different than his other work in terms of like the mysticism involved, and just like the scale of that is like so different than like something like Inception, where it's all time based and it's a dream and it's still very fantastical, but it's just so different when this is like mythology rooted in some form of reality. Like this is the reality of the characters themselves in a way that is very different than other stuff he's done, I think. And I think too, the thing I'm loving the most about the Odyssey post watching it is how deeply in conversation it feels with Oppenheimer specifically, which is such a massively exciting movie because it's about one man having to reckon with his actions and the consequences that they have inflicted on not just the people around him, but on a global scale. And in many ways, the way Nolan has framed the Odyssey is very similar in that Odysseus's actions have not only affected him and his men and like Ithaca as a whole, but it's like led to the collapse of entire society. And I think dealing with that is so fascinating because it's such a harrowing, heavy feeling to feel. And I think that was the biggest surprise is I don't think I was expecting him to lean into that so much as he was telling this story, but it makes it a really exciting adaptation because of that.
Well
Sid,
said.
what do you think of the Odyssey?
I sort of agree. I mean, I would firmly say that I loved the movie, but I don't think it's one of the greatest movies ever made. I think it has a lot of quirks, and I think it has issues that are present in some of Nolan's other films as well that we just sort of see pop up with the way that he makes movies. And I can very much see it playing out better on a rewatch once you kind of understand like the structure, especially because a lot of people have been saying that it kind of gets off to like a clunky start and then the third act is really good. I didn't really find it like clunky, but I do think so much of this film is like the most montagey that Nolan has ever been, especially because it's this retelling of a story that is sort of happening in like little vignettes. And so they were kind of popping like in and out of moments. And I think a lot of the things that we expected to be these big giant moments from the Odyssey, like Scylla and Charybdis, are super fleeting, like way more than I was expecting. And I think you kind of like notice these things while you're watching and you're like, oh, okay, that's not really what I expected it to be, because this is one of these big things we associate with the Odyssey. But then once the third act happens, it's really bringing like everything full circle, and I think maybe not recontextualizes, but really cements what Nolan is doing in his motivation for portraying things in a certain way. There's a monologue that Odysseus has at the end while he's in disguise talking to Penelope that I think is like just like so striking. And it's like it's the moment where you're like, wow, Nolan's like, this movie is about genocide. It's about really like dark, bleak things that are not just like, oh, this is like a violent man who killed people in war. Like you said, Claira, it is so much like Oppenheimer. It is about a man reckoning with the fact that he ruined the world kind of, and what that means. And I think the other films of his that I thought of the most were Oppenheimer and Memento too. I thought I would get a lot of Interstellar because it's about a man trying to like get back home to his family, but it didn't have as much of that in it as I was expecting. I think a lot of it was also about memory and myth, like the myth of Odysseus and him sort of reckoning with that version of him that people see and like the influence that it's had. And so I was just like so struck by that, I think. And that's why I think people will not get the movie they're expecting out of this. That's this just like fully like action, like I don't think anyone's really expecting it to be like completely linear, but this more conventional action spectacle, because I think it is intentionally subverting the heroic notion of what Odysseus did. And I just love all of that. But again, it's like then there are some little quirks here and there in the movie that I don't think entirely work. And I'm really excited to see it again and sort of see how things play out. And so, Joe, how are you feeling now that you've seen it twice? Like you said that it worked better for you on rewatch.
Well, for every reason you guys have brought up, in that the first time I watched it, I think I was so set in my expectations in the sense of like, okay, I'm getting an adaptation of the Odyssey, which we didn't really talk about our relationship to that story at all, but everyone has one to a degree. Mine a little bit more intimate because I studied it so many times in college.
Yep.
And you go in kind of expecting I'm going to get the Charybdis scene, I'm going to get the Scylla scene, I'll get the Cyclops scene, I'll get the Siren scene, I'll see the Calypso, I'll see Circe. And you do get all of that, but to varying degrees. And as you mentioned, like certain moments are much more fleeting than you kind of expected. Second watch, once you know what Nolan's aim is, and it's the big scene at the end that you're referencing, Sid, where Odysseus is sitting and recounting the sacking of Troy to Penelope.
Right.
Once you know that, I do think it completely recontextualizes how you engage with this movie. And so my second time I went in knowing that story and knowing what happened, I feel like I saw everything completely differently. I noticed lines of dialogue a lot more. I was so much more focused on Odysseus's relationship with everyone and how he treats everyone. And I found it so much more breathtaking in that sense. Yes, I'm still fawning over the practical effects. Like this movie is, and we can all agree, like an achievement in the technical sense in
Of
every sense of the
course.
word.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we
It
really
is-
need to say that because I feel like everyone's saying that, and I'm like, I don't need to say that, but like,
I know.
it's
No,
we
so
need to
true.
say that.
I need to say it is a massively beautiful film, just from the production to the score to the sound to the special effects to the practical effects. It is a beautiful, beautiful achievement of a film. Like that
Yes.
is like undoubt. You can't really that's what it is. But I love this movie because it is reframing this story and kind of pushing us and pressuring our relationship with Homer's poem in a way that I don't think people are ready for. In the
Yeah.
way that, like, yes, you're right. I think it's accessible in the sense that, like, yeah, if you want to go and watch an action fantasy film, it has those moments for sure. But I think people are not going to be ready for how confrontational it is, in the sense that it is asking you to look at the poem that we all know either well or not well, and ask the question of, like, what if Odysseus isn't a good person? Or maybe not even like it's more nuanced than that. Like, what if Odysseus regretted so much of the things he did? And that's why Oppenheimer does make such a beautiful companion piece. I watched Oppenheimer the minute I got home from watching this
Yeah.
movie, by the way.
I'm putting it off.
And it worked so well. But yeah, this idea that you have this morally ambiguous hero, which he was morally ambiguous in Homer's poem as well. But I like that Nolan is taking it a step further.
Yeah.
And it would made the rewatch so much more meaningful to me. And I think that if you are struggling with this movie because you don't really, maybe it wasn't what you expected, I highly encourage a rewatch, because I think that once you know, I don't want to call it a twist because it's not really a twist, but once you know Nolan's angle, I really think every scene means so much more. Whether it's his interaction with Polyphemus the Cyclops, whether it's his interactions and conversation with Circe, every like line of dialogue feels like it's feeding into this idea of, yeah, Odysseus is clever, but like, what if his clever was this, like, his burden essentially?
Yeah.
And the kind of the moral scars he leaves with every decision he makes, with every lie he tells. It's really fascinating on a second watch, and I'm feeling really good about the movie now. It's climbing my Nolan rankings really high. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
That's my initial impression of the movie.
Nice. Let's go.
Is that I really love it, is what
Yeah.
I'm getting at, is I really love it. Performances wise, I think that's where I find myself the most stuck.
Oh.
Like
In that-
universally or with individual people?
performances.
Okay.
Funny enough, like, you go into this movie and you're like, okay, we have Matt Damon, we have Anne Hathaway, we have John Bernthal, Tom Holland. And there's a lot of people you go into, there's a lot of actors here. I'm like, well, I know what kind of performance I get. It's going to be amazing. But I found myself like less moved by certain performances that I thought I should be moved by, and then moved by other people who I would like had no expectation for. And they're like, oh, wow, you're actually like
Right.
my favorite in the movie.
I agree. Yes.
So we can kind of go one by one.
Okay.
Not every single character, because there's
No, we
so
can't.
many of
It's
them.
impossible.
Matt Damon as Odysseus. Do you like Matt Damon as Odysseus? Sid, how are you feeling about it?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, I think I could have stood to get a little more out of his performance. I
Okay.
think there's some moments where he's a little stoic.
That's my issue too.
It's
In
too
that
much
there are
stoicism.
sometimes, second watch, I think I appreciated the stoicism a little bit more, but there are some moments where I just wanted a little bit more
I
emotion
think
out
one
the
of
guy.
them is when Telemachus realizes who he is after his dog
Yeah.
recognizes him, and what he's saying is like and if I was Odysseus, like I would say I was proud of you. He doesn't actually say that, but that's
Yeah.
like the
That's
spirit of
basically
what
what
he's
he says,
saying.
yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to see more of like a dude. You're fucking seeing your son, who
Yeah.
you like
Yeah.
haven't even
It is
known as like a person.
depriving you out of like this emotional catharsis that you want to feel out of that moment.
Yeah.
I agree, but I also think Tom Holland's performance isn't meeting the demands of that moment. I don't think either of them are giving us the full
Interesting.
scale of what they're experiencing.
Let's hold on Holland for 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Quick,
a whole
quick
different.
Damon thoughts, Clara?
I enjoy him a lot overall. Like, I think I agree that like the stoicism is tricky because it makes sense with his character why there's this withholding of like where he's at times, because he's very much bottling in these really devastating like thoughts about what he's done. But it is tricky sometimes because it's like, oh, okay, like you're just kind of there then. But there are other moments where I think he really shines. Like, I love the scene where he hears the sirens call and he's just screaming and just so like wrecked by what he's hearing. I find that really engaging, especially with it paired with the monologue he's doing as like voiceover describing what he heard.
Yeah.
And I love the final monologue he does where he's speaking to Penelope finally. I think that's great. I enjoy him in his big like action set piece at the end too, where he's killing all the suitors. I think like Damon's bringing it there. Like he feels very threatening and big and scary in a way that I was kind of a little surprised by, but I really enjoyed to see from him.
Yeah.
I love Damon in this role. I do. I think I don't have every Damon role written down right here, but off the top of my head, I think it's one of his career defining roles.
I like
don't know
that.
if it's like the pinnacle of his career, but I think it's up there. And I think that the best moments are the more quiet moments when he's talking to Penelope at the very end. There's a few moments with Calypso I kind of really like, where he's kind of trying to figure out who he is. Although the whole Calypso, this is I'll talk more about Calypso, I guess.
Yeah,
but
well, me
the
too.
Calypso Odysseus segments of the film are where I find it to be the most clunky and dragging.
I agree.
Interesting. Yeah, there are some things about that I like a lot in terms of like how Nolan changed things structurally, but then the way it plays out, I don't love.
Yeah,
every
that's
part
where I'm
of.
sitting with that one. So that's Damon. We all like
Yeah.
Damon though.
Yeah.
I have to say too, he is sculpted as fuck.
He looks
He
good.
looks great.
The one where there's one shot where he's just like shirtless all of a sudden, and
yeah,
I
with
was like,
Calypso.
am I the only one seeing this? Like he doesn't even look real. It was like
He's
insane.
jacked. Yeah.
And
jacked.
he's talked about just like how physically grueling this was for
Yeah.
him, and like good for you.
Every time he strings the bow, I'm like, woo.
Yeah.
You can see the veins coming out of
Dude,
his shoulders.
whatever muscle is at like the cap of your shoulder, you might know this, Joe. Trapezius.
Out of your deltoid, maybe, I think.
Deltoid.
I think so.
I'm like, I didn't even know that muscles could look like that.
Yeah, he looks good. Good for
looks
him.
Yeah,
really
he's a
good.
good Odysseus. But I'm not watching this and being like, oh, that's our best actor at the Oscars this year.
That was my
I
next
agree.
question. And again,
Yeah.
for the new people listening here, we never like to reduce movies to its Oscar chances nor its box office numbers.
Never.
These are conversations that naturally were going to happen. Is Matt Damon a Best Actor nominee as Odysseus?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
it's
because it
inevitable.
is what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's
Not
very
a
good.
winner.
No, not winner.
So far, at least, I don't know who would even be the winner that I've seen. Sebastian Stan for Fjord?
Oh, that's a good.
Oh,
I'd be honestly,
Tom
I'd be
Cruise?
surprised.
Oh, maybe.
Tom
Ooh, I have a hot
Cruise.
take on the
the
trailer.
Digger trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might not be as hot as you think because you're not online,
Yeah,
so
I
you don't get the
know.
discourse.
I don't think it looked great.
I've
That is
seen
not a
like
hot
2
take.
people say they liked it.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not that hot of a take to say like.
Not
between-
a hot take
conversation.
at all.
No, not a
I
hot
went.
take.
I went from like 10 excited to like a 6.5.
I've seen
Well,
a
people
lot of
hate
that.
Inuritu.
Yeah, they don't
Like
I
like
a
don't
lot.
hate Inuritu, but it does give me more Bardo than anything, and I didn't really like Bardo.
I was.
Fair.
I guess I was more middling on Bardo. I was warmer on Bardo than the average person, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that movie right now. Okay, so
Okay.
quick tangent. We can move on from that. How do we feel about Hathaway, Penelope?
Ooh.
I'm seeing more buzz for her for Best Actress. We can answer that question in
Okay.
a second. Do you like Hathaway as Penelope, Sid?
I think she is my favorite performance in the film.
Whoa.
Oh, wow, that's great.
I thought she was fantastic.
Okay.
Yes.
Is this a career best for her?
I think it's up there. I don't know even what else I would say that would like compete with it, honestly.
Devil Wears Prada.
Les
She's
Mis.
great. She's great in the
Les
Devil.
Mis?
She's great in Les Mis. She's really good in Les Mis.
I like her as Catwoman a lot.
She's great as
She's
Catwoman.
so good as Catwoman.
Dr. Brand in Interstellar.
She's great as Dr. Brand, but I don't know. She's really good as Penelope. There's just like I don't even know what it is. There's like a power in what
Yes.
like she brings like a real power to the character that I think is really moving.
I agree. I like that there's a range of emotion for her. I was
Yeah.
really worried because Nolan is notoriously not the best with his female characters in his films. I was worried it would be more of like a one-note tragic character. And while there is like some tragedy attached to Penelope inherently, I think Hathaway is bringing like this fierceness to Penelope that I really enjoy. How'd you feel about her?
I would agree with that. It's funny because it's like I would argue Penelope as a character in a Nolan film is maybe one of the best written female characters he's ever had in one of his movies.
I can see that.
Comparatively to like other like prominent female characters in other movies, I think she's still a little on the weaker side, truthfully. But it's a big step up for Nolan, which is exciting. And I think Anne Hathaway brings a lot of great sensation to the character. Because I think what I love so much is that she's balancing like all these other emotions on top of she's perpetually like on the verge of crying. And I found that really compelling, this just constant lip tremble that she's doing, and she's fighting so hard not to like succumb to that sorrow. And I found that really engaging throughout. One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie actually is it's the one where she is sat across from Robert Pattinson and they're talking about him like propositioning her more directly, and it's them with the shroud in front of them. And I thought that was really engaging, just like how she is embodying that sensation of mourning throughout, but not wanting to mourn at the same time. I think it's very compelling.
Well, that's very
Yeah.
telling of her performance, I think, because Nolan so often has her behind something.
Yeah.
Whether that be like a door frame or like she's like making something like
The mourning
like a
shroud
blanket
weaving,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So he's often like hiding her. And yet, even though I don't see her face directly, I can like feel her presence. Whether that be like behind the doors as she's like addressing the suitors, or the scene where she is talking with Odysseus in disguise, like she's crying.
Yeah.
I can't see it, but I can like feel it.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's because I think she's just performing out of her brain.
Yeah, she has like
we
a
like
immense
Hathaway.
presence.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
impressive.
I think what was I going to say? Yeah, I love that she's always sort of behind something because she's just like put walls up to what's happening, but they're not completely opaque, you know? Like it is, she's sort of like it's hard for her. And I think they did a really good job balancing that she misses Odysseus and she wants him back and like needs him back because she loves him, but also partly because of the structures in place, because she cannot lead as a woman, but also acknowledging that she has been doing that and
Yeah.
is just like not acknowledged as such. And I like that she's harsh on Telemachus, and you know, she's like, you're a child, like you're not ready for this yet. They were giving me big time Paul and Jessica in Dune vibes. She has big Bene Gesserit energy, I think.
Okay.
Kind of does.
Wow. I want to
Yeah.
use that word, that phrase in real life.
That's
Big Bene
fun.
Gesserit energy.
BBG.
Big Bene Gesserit energy. I can see that. I didn't make that comparison at all when I was watching, but I like that
Yeah,
comparison.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
On that
loved her.
note, how do we feel about Tom Holland's Telemachus? How are we feeling about?
Guys.
Look. I want to make one thing very clear.
Tommy.
I really love Tom Holland from what I've seen in interviews and things. Love
Yeah.
that guy.
What a guy.
We had this conversation when? I don't know when. At some point, whether that be me and Claira when we were talking about Spider-Man on the Patreon,
It had to have been then.
or at some point. But
During our Odyssey draft.
maybe Odyssey draft, we were talking about how are we feeling about Holland's just filmography as an actor, and whether or not we've seen Holland kind of break out to being this kind of prestige premier actor. We all kind of default to saying, well, of course he is because he plays Spider-Man, but I don't know if that's even the right answer. And we all kind of hoping that the Odyssey would be the indicator of where Holland is as an actor right now. And how do you feel about him now? How do you feel about Holland in this film?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought he was great.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I don't think it's interesting. I also think there are a lot of things in this movie sometimes that are, I don't know. I think a lot about how with IMAX, the shooting, I think there are a lot of imperfections that come through because they don't always get to do a lot of takes. Nolan shoots very quickly. There's like a moment in here where Robert Pattinson and that other suitor that he was friends with are in the frame, and it's like focus pulling between the two of them, and it like focuses on some guy in the background and then pulls back, and Robert Pattinson like never comes in back into focus. And I'm like, okay, we just went with that. Well, that's the thing, is that I think there are a lot of things that Nolan's like, it doesn't matter. Like, we have to just like move on. And I do think there are a couple times when Tom Holland is delivering lines and I'm like aware that he's like acting, and I don't think it's like the best line delivery, but I do think he really embodies this like kid who's coming of age and is trying to step into the shoes of his father. Every time he's sort of like silently crying, I really feel that desperation that he has for a father that he like doesn't even know. And I think he was a great casting decision. I don't think he's the best performance in the movie, but I do think it's probably his best performance to date.
Whoa, to date. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Not Spider-Man?
He's great as Spider-Man, but I don't know. I thought that this was a really good outing.
I've decided at post this movie that Tom Holland is a good actor.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know if he is reaching for the tier of great actors for me at this point. I think he is good in certain scenes of this film, specifically the moments where he's needs to be more emotional, wear the heart on his sleeve, looking for his father. I find that every scene where he has to be like more physically domineering, where he has to challenge Pattinson's character or kind of stand up for himself, I'm not exactly buying it in those scenes.
But isn't that the point, though, that he's like trying to act tough, but he's not?
That's true.
That's a good point. Yeah, maybe that's. I need to kind of accept that. I just find a lot of the line delivery a little clunky. Mm-hmm. I'm not moved by him in a way that I'm like moved by watching Hathaway perform. I also think that it's really tough to go one-on-one with Hathaway in certain scenes.
Yeah,
right.
And I'm like, well, it's
so true.
a little
She's
unfair
eating
to
you
go
up,
like,
little bro.
yeah, she's there kind of like acting up a storm, and he's like kind of there like, hi, like,
Where's my
he's
dad?
doing his thing. Where's my dad? But I think he is good in this movie. I'm just not completely sold on the performance in ways that I wish I was sold on.
Totally fair.
Yeah, I think I would agree. Going back to Sid's point too about like how it can be challenging like shooting with IMAX too. I saw a video of Matt Damon talking about it, and he pointed out like the cameras they're using for this, they can only shoot up to 3 minutes of film at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So those longer scenes of dialogue, they're basically like shooting as long as they can, and then they have to freeze, re-spool the film reels into the camera, and then they backpedal slightly and redo lines
must
and
be
then keep
tough.
going. So that's the thing, is like I think sometimes like if the performances are feeling a little not quite there, I think that could easily be part of the problem, is like it's just such a different demanding performance there because like the limitations of the cameras are a lot more obvious.
Yeah.
So I think that does impact things at times. I think it is the tricky thing of just like, I agree that I think this is probably Tom Holland's best work, but he's also up against much more seasoned actors.
Yeah.
Because the thing is Tom Holland's a great actor, but the majority of his work is tied to playing one character, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And I think that has, even though he's great as Peter Parker, I think that's put a limitation on how far he's able to stretch himself. And I think this is a great next step for him to move beyond that. But I think you can see the limitations of that sometimes because he's just used to kind of playing the same guy over and over again.
Yeah, and that guy is kind of morphed into Tom Holland. So at a certain
That's the
point,
thing.
how much is Tom Holland acting as Spider-Man and just acting as himself?
Exactly.
Which is an interesting. He is great as Spider-Man, by the way. I think
he's
he's
very
fantastic
good.
as
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I really love Tom Holland as a person, and I want to see him in more movies.
Yeah.
working with Nolan is only going to be good for you.
Oh,
So
for sure.
I'm excited to see what he does after this.
Also, I tried Bureau, and it was really good.
Yeah, I tried a beer.
We tried a
as
Bureau.
well.
We tried
Oh,
Bureau on
really?
Shout out
Saturday.
to his non-alcoholic
Oh,
beer.
that's
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
fantastic.
like actually it was good.
Fantastic beer.
Yeah.
Tasted like beer, but it wasn't beer.
Yep. It was impressive.
One last actor to go over before we open up the conversation to people that surprised you, maybe. Pattinson
Let's go.
as Antonius. How are we feeling about the villainous kind of the? I guess there's a lot of villains in the film, but like kind of
Yeah.
like the primary villain of the film. How are you feeling about it?
He's like he's not quite my favorite, but in terms of like major performances in this movie, I would say he is my favorite
Okay.
of those
Okay.
four. I think he's so much fun. I love Robert Pattinson in general, but like there's something especially awesome when he gets to play a wormy little fuck.
Yeah.
And he's really good at it.
He needs to be like everyone's like, oh, I love when Barry Keoghan plays the wormy little guy. I'm like, I like when Pattinson does it more.
No,
Yeah.
it's like it's really fun to watch because he just like clearly revels in building up that persona, and he's very convincing at it. And I think this is the perfect balance of playing someone who has power, but he knows the power is so precarious and he's perpetually scared of losing it. And I think that quiet building sense of anxiety that he's conveying throughout the performance is really fun to play with and see, because everyone else gets to react to it in different capacities because he's so powerful. So it makes for like a really interesting performance, and I love it. I think he's a blast.
I only have one complaint.
What?
I wish there was more of him.
Oh.
And that's going to be a lot of my complaints about
Everyone.
every performance, essentially, is that I wish there was more of that person, which obviously is an unfair criticism and not something I'm saying seriously. I think he's so good in this role. I wanted to see more of him on screen.
That's super fair.
I think that my favorite moments with him are when he is reduced to being like the coward that he actually is. When the big fight scene ensues at the very end and he kind of runs behind a pillar, and his only lines of dialogue in those scenes are like, get the sword, get the sword, get the
Yeah.
sword.
Right.
Get the spear, get the spear. Like,
Trying
every
to
time a new
command,
weapon
yeah.
falls down from the ceiling, he's like, go grab it, but he won't do it himself. And then obviously gets his comeuppance at the end.
He doesn't even try to string the bow.
Doesn't even
No,
try to
doesn't
string the
even
bow.
try.
Clara's right. The way he can just completely embody someone so cowardly and evil and just sniveling, just awful person.
Yeah.
It does it really well, but also has that great moment with Penelope where
Yes.
he kind of turns on the charm of like, we can make this work. I can be good for you. I can be good for Ithaca. Very convincing performance from him.
Yeah. Well, and I love that scene too because it's like he almost gets it. He almost,
does
wins.
get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
'Cause he is.
Yeah, you get it.
charming, devious little guy.
You
Yeah,
absolutely
I
get
like
it.
that. I really liked his costume design. I liked that it was a little sort of flamboyant, like what he was wearing, like he was peacocking a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that Pattinson really understood. Like, he doesn't overdo it. You do think that he's handsome and he's charming. I'm like, if I didn't know he was a weaselly little fuck, I would be like, oh yeah, like that's not a bad option
Yeah, it's
for
not
a
a bad
suitor.
idea.
And so there, as you like see more of him, you just get this impression of this just like really like sinister thing about
Exactly.
him, and I really love, and that's why it's like such a satisfying moment when Odysseus returns his shame to him. quote
Oh
unquote.
yes,
Yeah.
that's the other aspect of him, kind of having this secret that no one knows about, and then Odysseus returns his shame, and the scene
Right.
where Odysseus gives him the little wood thing and says like, "This is for you," and he's like, "Where'd you get this?" And he
Yeah.
kind of freaks out.
Horrified.
Great scene.
It's
Yeah.
cool. Well, and it's
I-
interesting too because he plays like he's essentially playing the next generation who are coming up in the aftermath of what Odysseus has done. Like he's the byproduct of dismantling Zeus's law, and
Yes.
he's really like taking that to an extreme that no one has ever seen before.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Sid?
I was going to say that the scene of him with Penelope, there are some close-ups of him where it's just like, wow, I'm watching one of the like best moments of a performance in
Yeah.
this movie. It's just like so impressive. He's great.
Pattinson never fails us, man.
Never
He's so
fail.
good.
He's having quite the year too.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
we're going from the drama to this. We're gonna get prime time later this year.
I'm
Yep.
so excited.
I'm pumped.
It's gonna be awesome.
Ending with Doom Part 3.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what his role is in Doom Part 3. Like I
He's
watched
a
the
weaselly
trailer.
little fuck. Once again.
I'm so down for the Pattinson Renaissance.
Let's
This is a really great
go.
moment for all of us Pattinson fans. So it's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, those are there's more core performances. Those are the 4 core we'll stop with.
Okay.
I will then just open it up to, is there another performance from this film that really moved you that you want to shout out? Claire, you want to start us off?
I'll shout out what I think I will say is probably my favorite performance in the whole movie, and it's Elliot Page's.
Yeah, I think Elliot Page is top 2 for me.
It's such a great performance because it's, he's getting to play this character in 2 very different spaces, on like being alive and being this very vulnerable, earnest believer of Odysseus and what they're doing, and he has to pay like the ultimate price for that in a way that Elliot Page conveys the shock of it so beautifully in his scene. And then when they go to Hades and he returns as a shade, it's such a shift in the character from what we've seen as this very earnest young boy who is kind of almost following Odysseus like a puppy dog, and now he's almost bubbling with this untapped rage that has just festered into something so devastating and heavy, and Elliot Page is able to convey it so effectively. And it just makes me happy to see him in the movie in this role that is so prominent and essential, because he is essentially playing quote unquote the best of them in a way that feels great. But also Elliot Page has been honest about the last time he worked with Nolan in Inception, it was kind of a negative experience for him, not because of Nolan directly, just because he hadn't transitioned yet and it was just a hard role. And so it's really cool to see him get to step into this new space as his true self in such a big movie, and he plays such an essential piece of the entire thing. I think this falls apart a little bit without his inclusion, honestly.
Wow.
I agree wholeheartedly in every possible way. I think
Yay.
Elliot Page is doing something that is so essential to this film's thesis. Also, shout out to Nolan. And did Nolan co-write this with somebody? I should
hang
check
on,
that.
I have the letter.
I
I
don't
don't
think he
think so.
did.
It's just him.
He's been
Shout out
the
to
only
Nolan.
writer for a while, I think.
Yeah.
For including Sinan, because Sinan's not in the Odyssey.
Yeah.
And so this is an inclusion. I think Sinan's in the Aeneid. So shout out to Nolan for including Sinan, but Sinan is such an important just aspect, foundational to us understanding Odysseus and Odysseus's grief and Odysseus' guilt. And Elliot Page is, I think, in this Hades scene, which we'll get into our favorite scenes in just a second. The Hades scene is one of my favorites, and it's because of what Elliot Page is doing.
Yeah.
That transformation from the naive, hopeful young soldier to the jilted shade who is feels so betrayed by what Odysseus has done. Oh, the delivery of him saying Odysseus is well, I was there. I was in the horse. I was listening. I was right there. And he's what
Yeah.
comfort does that bring me?
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm just
Your
I'm
lie. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so, there's such a
great,
deep
great moment.
sadness.
I can't. I just on my second watch is where I found that moment with Sinan to be the most moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's
I
fantastic.
agree. Elliot Page is amazing in this. He's
And it is,
fantastic.
yeah, it's really beautiful to see him working with Nolan again as himself, and just,
Yes.
yeah. I and I
Completely.
like that it's, in contrast to Robert Pattinson, it's these 2 young men in that generation. One of them, he's turned evil, and the other one, he's just completely let down. And
Yeah.
that's just so sad. Yeah. Elliot Page's performance in the underworld scene is so good. It's
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
Elliot Page, who plays Sinan,
Secret
not
MVP.
Achilles, to the fucking chuds
Yeah.
on the internet who were
Oh my God.
convinced he was playing Achilles for
Yeah,
some
for
reason.
sure.
Great shout. I will shout out. That was my pick.
Sorry.
I will shout out. You know what? I really love Himesh Patel
Yeah.
as
Good one.
Eurolocus. I think I was surprised by how much he was in the movie,
Yeah, a lot.
but found him such an interesting foil to Odysseus in this film, constantly challenging Odysseus' decisions, but making some bad decisions of his own. I really thought he brought a presence to this movie that I was not expecting, but I thought he was fantastic in it.
yeah.
I agree. I just rewatched Tenet too, and he's great in that. I'm glad
he
that-
is good
He
in that.
is I forget he's in Tenet. Is he one of the people they go to do something?
Yeah, he's they're just like, oh, this is the guy who's gonna like
Yeah, I
crash the
remember him, like,
plane
okay.
into the building and like
Okay.
stuff like that.
I remember him briefly. He's not in Inception. He's in he's in my favorite Danny Boyle movie. Not my favorite Danny Boyle movie, but
Yesterday.
I'm a big Yesterday
Yeah.
guy. I like Yesterday. All right?
it's
Sue
okay.
me that I like Himesh Patel singing Beatles songs to me.
Live your
Okay,
truth.
all right.
Live your truth.
Sorry, there are worse things in life
Ahead of my
I could
time.
love and want. I love Himesh Patel in this movie a lot. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna shout out him, and then before I shout out anyone else, do you want to shout someone else out, Sid?
Would love to shout out John Leguizamo.
Yeah, that's the other person.
I think
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, there are a couple others that we should mention, but he's so good. And I think people are like surprised. And like, John Leguizamo has always been good. And
No,
Yeah,
truly.
he's a great
Yeah.
actor.
Phenomenal.
he is a
actor.
great actor. And I really like, his role that he plays here and just being this very like, I don't know. He's just kind of this like moral like constant in the film and a member of like the older generation and just seeing like how much things have changed. And he brings a lot to just like his relationship to Odysseus and Telemachus, I think is like an important emotional core, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
I
And
agree.
he does a great job.
Yeah.
I love him in this movie. Although people are very upset that one of the first scenes we see him, he's throwing a puppy off the cliff. People are not
Oh,
happy
yeah,
about
people
that.
crazy.
like were like making noise in our theater.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, like they did
Second
not
time
like
around,
that.
people were not happy about it
Because the
either.
puppy
No.
showed up and I was like, oh my God, it's like Odysseus's dog. I literally, I out loud, I went, aw. And then he throws it off the cliff.
Yeah, he throws it off the cliff.
Immediately.
So not the best intro to Eumaeus, but
Yeah.
love him so much in this movie. There are a lot of great moments where, like when Odysseus arrives back to Ithaca and Eumaeus is like in bed. He's like, did you like love Odysseus? He's like a son. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very
it's a great,
sweet.
great moment.
Yeah.
Also brings a bit of lighthearted comedy to the movie that sometimes desperately it needs.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
he has some great moments when like Logan Marshall Green's character is wearing like the loud spurs and he kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
Oh,
is always
yeah.
pointing it out to him.
Yeah.
Some great moments with that as well.
Very good.
Okay, I also want to shout out who do I want to shout? Corey Hawkins as Polybus. He is the other suitor who's like friends
Oh,
with
yep,
Robert
yep, yep.
Pattinson.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Good shout.
Thought he's very good. Just cruel, mean,
Mm-hmm.
asshole suitor. Just kind of really leaning into that. Appreciate that a lot from him.
Yeah.
People who I thought were good, but I weren't in the movie
Oh, wait.
long enough.
Can we? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe you
well-
were gonna mention who I want to mention.
Okay,
Okay.
possibly.
I feel like there's one big one we're missing right now.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
Okay, who? Oh, do you want to? You say it,
Samantha Morton.
Sid. Who?
Oh, that's not who I was gonna say.
Oh, okay. Who are you going to
Cersei.
say?
Well,
Which
I was
is
gonna say
Samantha Morton.
Yeah, okay. So we're talking good performances. Okay, let's talk about Samantha Morton. This is
Okay.
not on my list of people who were not in the movie enough.
Okay.
Samantha Morton as Cersei, also amazing. This is the one that came out. There was like a headline that was like after they shot her scene, everyone like
She received a standing ovation
standing
on
ovation
set, which
from
is
the
not
set.
normal. Yeah.
I see why.
Yeah.
She's incredible
She's
in
phenomenal.
this scene. Mm-hmm. What do you think about Samantha Morton, Sid?
I think she's incredible, and I love Samantha Morton. I do think that was one of the things where I was like, oh, wow, she got a standing ovation. Like, what is her role? Like, what is she like doing? And her scene, I think, also is very fleeting. And I don't think she was like my favorite It's not like fleeting, but I guess it wasn't what I was expecting it to be based on that headline. Like, she's not like my favorite performance in the movie, but she is really good in that scene, and I think it just stands out so much because of how fucking horrific that scene is. That was like
scary, man.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, she's always been incredible. So
Samantha Morton thoughts?
No, I think she's great. It's definitely one of the standout like scenes along Odysseus's journey. I think is her scene with him. Obviously, also because like you were kind of pointing out, like once you know what Nolan's getting at, like her conversation with Odysseus in particular becomes so much heavier because she's pointing out how awful these men have been, and he's so almost like hyper aware of that. That's like the burden he's trying to reconcile with, and now she's calling him on it directly. And I think the performance is great in that regard of like it's such a quiet but angry conversation, and I think Samantha Morton is really carrying it.
It is a scene that hit harder for me the second time because once you do know, I keep calling it the twist, but once
Yeah.
you know the angle, everything she says, I feel like is hitting a lot harder. I don't think I noticed the first time, or at least maybe it didn't like really register with me, that as she is turning them back into humans, she's saying back in your disguise, back in your disguise.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which the first time I saw it, I don't, it didn't really process. And the second time I saw it, I'm like, oh, I understand like what she's doing now, or like what this purpose of this visit is. I understand the reaction that this scene might be fleeting. I think this is one of those scenes that feels the most prominent in Odyssey's journey, one of the stops, because there are some stops in the journey that feel exceedingly fleeting and almost borderline pointless that I really have a hard time reconciling with. The scene where they fight the giants, I think that scene is completely we could have just gone past this island. We don't need to stop here.
Yeah, it is tricky, but I think that's because of the format of like we're not like actually going on the journey with Odysseus as he's going home. We're experiencing him recounting the
recalling
memories.
it with Calypso.
And so
just
the
skip that
format-
memory next time, Odysseus.
You don't need that one.
I don't need to remember that one.
I get it.
But I really liked the scene with Circe. I think that scene really sticks out to me as a pivotal scene to understanding how people are reacting to Odysseus' men. Like, for a long time in this movie, there's this like rumor of the men from the sea. And it's not very clear who they are until the very end, that they are the men from the sea. They are the ones who are, raping and pillaging and killing. And I think that, again, on a second watch, like those, once you know that, like the scenes with Circe hit so much harder.
Absolutely.
Okay, back to my original question.
Right.
Performances that are here that may be good, maybe they're not, but maybe there's not a lot of it. Kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on them.
Okay.
I'll start with, who do I want to start with? Jon Bernthal's Menelaus. Any thoughts on Jon Bernthal's Menelaus?
I think he's
good.
very solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not
I'm
in as
the
much
same
as I
boat.
thought he was going to be.
That's going to be a very common thing we say about a lot of these characters right now. How about Benny Safdie as Agamemnon?
Dude, I was low-key cracking up a little bit because he like has like 2 lines, but he gets to just walk around and be really big and scary.
2 lines, and we never see his face.
Never properly, not fully.
Yeah, there's like I think like a flash, and you get to see it when he sees him in the underworld, and he's having this sort of like flashback of what happened when his wife murdered him and stuff. You get to see it more well lit through his helmet. I don't know about this casting, guys.
Are you not on board with the casting?
I don't think I'm really on board. I don't know if I should be on board, because my reaction is like, oh, this is like the great king Agamemnon, and it's just like Benny Safdie.
Just
But
Bowser
is it
Jr.
but is it the point that he's the great king Agamemnon, but actually it's just Benny Safdie, and that's like the point.
I think that
I
is
think
the
that's the
point.
point for
'Cause
me, yeah.
I think that's a big part too of why like he's so perpetually shrouded and we very rarely actually see his face. Like he's become this larger than life embodiment of a man. Like he's more than a man in many people's eyes, and like in a way, like I like Benny Safdie, but also I think you could put anyone here because it doesn't matter who's really playing the character. It's more about what he's embodying.
Yeah.
Right.
Ultimately, that's what matters to me is like, I think Nolan has framed him and has portrayed him in a way that is clearly like you have this guy in dark black Batman-esque armor who is essentially just aura farming for the few scenes he's in. And that's the point, right? He is this larger than life persona.
Yeah.
And we don't know who he really is, but deep down inside, he's just like, dude. He's just a dude who does some really bad things and gets killed by his wife.
Yeah.
And so I like the decision that we see like limited screen time with him, limited dialogue, limited FaceTime. I think it's a decision that really works in the story's favor.
I agree.
So I like what I see here. Charlize Theron is Calypso.
Oh, I think she's like the weakest character here, honestly.
I am unfortunately agreeing with this.
Okay, because it's like Calypso is such an essential part of the story, and she's obviously on screen like a decent amount, but I think she is ultimately pretty underdeveloped as a character, and so then the performance also feels kind of underdeveloped because there's just not a lot for her to do beyond just like guiding Odysseus through his memories. And I think that's kind of a disservice to Calypso's role as like this isolated woman on an island who is doing everything she can to not be alone anymore. There's none of that like fear like you would suspect to feel from her of like, this is the man I love and I don't want him to leave, because it's not just he's gone, it's I'm alone.
Yeah.
And I don't ever feel that in this movie.
I agree with this 100% in that it seems like the role has been reduced to like a plot device in this movie rather than like a fully fleshed out character, which feels like a pretty big disservice.
I agree.
I think that's true. You don't really get a sense of like who she is or what she wants, especially because it's so, she's kind of reduced to like a nothing character, especially compared to the poem, because a notable thing that Nolan took out is that Odysseus is not Calypso's sex slave, and he also is not basically like not bribed but like forced into having sex with Circe to save his men. Like Nolan, those are two like very prominent things that Nolan takes out, which I can understand why, because I don't know if it would like fit thematically into what he's doing with Odysseus' character in the Odyssey. But yeah, Calypso, it's no longer this thing where Odysseus is like held there against his will and he's miserable and he's like crying every day. This was one of the things that I really liked, though, is that it changes it from that. And also, Odysseus is not recounting his journey to Calypso in the poem. He's recounting it to the Phoenicians or whatever. I forget what they're called. And I really like how instead of him just being like, oh yeah, this is what happened, it's him actively trying to recollect memories that he has suppressed because he is so desperate to forget it, and like he keeps eating the lotus flowers and until he is ready to remember and ready to like completely relinquish control to the gods. He can't go home until then. And I like that he says that he doesn't even want to go home because of all of these things. And so like I really like what he did conceptually with like what's happening at Calypso's island. But yeah, it's just, I'm like, is Charlize Theron just like checked out of her career at this point? Like I can't remember the last time.
It's hard to say. I mean, she looks like she's having fun on Apex, so who knows what she's doing nowadays.
I think that was kind of like a nothing performance.
I'm not saying it's
Apex.
a compelling one, but
yeah, but
maybe she's having fun.
Maybe it's because because we're familiar with her in the poem, we like understand her as this like complex person, but here she's just kind of like, oh, you washed up on my island and you really wanted to forget and we were in love.
Well, tell me about that time. Do you remember? And then he's like, let me think. And then we go into the flashback.
She's very supportive of him like remembering.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, here you are. Bye-bye. Off on
Here's
your
your
journey.
pin and see you
there's
later.
just not a lot of friction there, which, you know, maybe she was just a nice lady on an island in this version.
Other people I want to shout out that we don't get enough of that I kind of wish we did. Mia Goth as a Melantho. Mia Goth, I love Mia Goth as an actress. Kind of wish we had more of her in this movie. But
I kind of like I think it makes sense though that she's not. I don't feel like I need her to be prominent necessarily.
No, I don't need her to be prominent. I just like Mia Goth.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
The last big one. Zendaya as Athena.
This is well, I was gonna say this is another supporting role that I found really compelling. Like I honestly enjoy the fact that her presence is more limited. Like I think I prefer that.
So this is an interesting conversation that can go a couple different ways. We could talk about Zendaya's performance as Athena and like the limited time she's in this film, but also we could talk about Nolan's decision or reluctance to have a lot of gods in this film in a way that I think would be typical in the mythological adaptation of, you know, the Odyssey, is to kind of feature the gods and their meddling and their kind of their inclusion in these people's lives. And his decision to kind of keep them out of it. Even Athena is in a way like, yes, she's in the movie, but less in the movie as a god and more in the movie as like a phantom, someone haunting Odysseus. And again, I know I keep saying this, but it is a performance I think really resonates more on a second watch once you know who she is and kind of like why she's so present in Odysseus's kind of journey.
Yeah.
What do you think of Zendaya as Athena, Sid?
I really liked her. Yeah, as we know, she was apparently the only one who got a perfect from Christopher Nolan.
I saw the interview with Nolan. Yeah.
I honestly think that this could be seen as the twist of the film when
absolutely.
When she disappears at the end, especially if you're familiar with the poem and like Athena. I love in the poem how hard Athena rides for Odysseus.
Oh,
and
she
Telemachus.
loves that guy.
She
loves
loves them. She's like, yeah, I'm here for you guys.
here
like
for you,
I'm a ride or
king.
die.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
But in this, he makes it deliberately ambiguous where Athena is and what she's doing in this film, because in the poem she's taking on all these disguises and she's like assisting Telemachus on his journey, and Telemachus has people in his life like the big tall guy that's with him on his journey, and he's mentor, right? He's to a couple different people he's like, you have wise eyes like Athena, and we're meant to be like, oh, is this like Athena in disguise? And then Odysseus is seeing her too, and we get the notion that he's more like seeing her in his mind, but we still don't know if it's like, is it really her or is it something that he's like conjuring up on his own? And then when she disappears at the end and we get the flash of them beheading the statue of Athena, I was like, whoa, like this is like super interesting. She's almost more of like a concept in the film rather than an actual character, and that, like, I don't know what you guys took away from it, but I'm like, and it shows them like beheading Zendaya as Athena as well. And I think it's just that thing is haunting him, that he like destroyed what she represented more so. He like killed.
Oh, I took it more literal.
I think you can definitely take it that way too. That's why I wanted to ask you guys, because especially now that you've seen it twice, like.
Yeah, I took it more as like Zendaya was a civilian of Troy, and they killed this civilian, this innocent person who lived in Troy. They beheaded her, and Odysseus watched his men behead this innocent person. And so he conjures up.
He's transplanting Athena
this
onto
guilt
her.
As
of
this.
manifestation.
Okay, that's what I thought. But okay, that's good hearing that from you now that you've seen it again, because it happens so quick, and you're like, oh, is that like
that's
what
how
he's
I
implying?
interpret it.
Which is super dark.
Very dark. Like he's now realizing like my decision, my cleverness to build this horse to violate everything sacred between man. Our bond, our word is our bond, Zeus's law. I violated that, and it's led to the destruction of this city, but not just the destruction of the city, but like the murder of innocent people. And I've witnessed this poor woman get beheaded for no reason. So now I'm like haunted by her image, who I am now saying is Athena. But in the movie, she's not really helping him very often. Like she might tell him here and there, like, oh, you're back in Ithaca, or here's what's happening next. But it's not like as direct as in the poem, where Athena, like you said, is very hands-on with Odysseus. And that's how I interpreted it, especially after a second time. It's kind of like where I've landed with it.
Okay.
That's how I interpreted it as well. And I think that works really nicely too, that she's become this like phantom, like fill-in for all of his grief too, and just that he's carrying her token around the entire time too. So I think it's interesting that he has this like memento of Athena, but also of his wife, who is like vulnerable as well. And then he's perpetually remembering the face of this young woman who was murdered in his name. And I'm sure it is like, I don't know. I think there's something really compelling too at the end where they hold hands as he's recounting the memory and like fully embracing the truth of what he's done. And that was one of the most like moving moments in the film for me, is when they finally touch, because it obviously she's still not really there, but it makes it feel so real, is that these things he's seeing are there and a part of him now, because he's holding on to her.
And that's how I kind of like justify my reading of it, in that like as soon as he is able to tell somebody else about what's happened and kind of accept the guilt and these like evil things he's done, she then goes away.
Yeah.
This is also a reason I justify it. Maybe this is completely off base, but also the fact that like none of the statues look like Zendaya, which,
True.
That's not like hard evidence, but I think that if she was directly supposed to be Athena, I think they would try to mold them to look like Zendaya, but also that's like, who knows? That could be like
I think you're
type
completely right.
evidence.
I mean, there isn't a single real god in the movie, right?
Not that we've seen, and
Not
that's
that
what
we
makes
see.
it really interesting that he's not really, for a poem that is so directly tied to gods, he's not really leaning into it. Like, we're not seeing Poseidon get angry.
Yeah.
You know, they say Polyphemus is, in that scene of the Cyclops, is like asking for help, but you know, we never see Poseidon actually show up. We don't see Zeus show up. So it's a pretty hands off on the gods. An interesting decision to make when adapting this movie.
It is. And it makes me think about, I can't remember the exact wording, maybe you can remember it, the opening text, it's like in a time where magic apparently, it's like they use the word apparent.
apparent.
And I
A
It's
thought
time of
that was-
apparent magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that what it
and
is?
I thought
Yeah.
that was a really fun choice too, because like on one hand we are seeing like the Cyclops and the Sirens and like all of these things that are like inherently tied to magic, but then he's kind of cut away all of the actual magic you would expect to see in a film like this through the gods' interactions.
It is interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder what people will think of that, because there was, you know, there were complaints leading up to it that they were like, oh, Nolan's going to make it too literal. There are going to be like explanations for all of the fantastical stuff. And it's kind of in between, right? Like, there is so obviously the presence of like actual fantastical things in this film, but he allows the gods as a concept to be something that the human beings project ideas onto, so that they're allowed to function more metaphorically and thematically, instead of sort of muddying that by having Poseidon come in and like say shit and have that have like implications and stuff. It's like the Cyclops crying out for Poseidon, like a couple of the soldiers like think that they heard that, and now when they're out on the water, it's like, you know, they think that that's like Poseidon's fault and everything. And I just think, the way that he portrays like the idea of the gods in this is so interesting, because everyone is constantly talking about Zeus's law, and Odysseus he's like resistant to the idea of gods and like having to follow the rules of the gods, because I think he sees it as a form of control. But really what these people are saying when they're like, see, like you should treat a beggar well because they could be a god in disguise, they're saying like we should see that in every person, like not that they're literally a god, but it's like see like the human being in them and like see the goodness in them, like don't treat people poorly for no reason. And that's like exactly what Odysseus is doing. And I think when he confronts that like humanity that he has just completely lost is what like the gods really mean in this film, or that's at least like what I thought Nolan was getting at.
Well, I think it's interesting in this movie that often that Zeus's law is brought up, especially when it comes to Odysseus. Like he's quick to kind of embrace it when it benefits him,
Right.
but is very quick to dismiss it when it's not convenient for him. And you see that really a lot in this movie, when every time one of his shipmates dies or someone dies in battle, they're like, we need to bury him. He's like, no, we need to get out of here.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We have to leave. And they're like, no, that's not right. We need to do it. And he's like, we honor him by escaping. And so that's what makes like this really interesting decision from Nolan to keep the gods out of it, because then it asks the question, like, is Odysseus being punished throughout this movie because he doesn't obey Zeus's law, or is he being punished for something else?
Right.
Which is, again, taking a text that we have, so many people have studied for so long, and kind of putting this like very contemporary spin on it that I think I like a lot about the movie, but I think people are going to find like frustrating.
Yeah, that's possible. It's interesting too, because in a way it also speaks to like what he's getting at as well, with like Odysseus's actions with Troy are leading to the entire collapse of a society, and that also means in theory the power of the gods is draining, because the society that believed in them is in collapse and is no longer going to be in power, and so their power as well is potentially draining at the same time.
True.
Makes for interesting conversation. So we like Zendaya? Was the
Yeah.
how this
Oh
conversation
yeah,
started?
sorry.
I love her in this. I think she's great.
I think she's fantastic as
Yeah.
well.
She's very good. Yeah.
All right, that is performances. Obviously, we had some conversation about scenes, but I want to go more specifically into some of the bigger scenes of the film.
Okay.
Early in the episode, you mentioned that some people find the first 30 minutes of this movie clunky. I'm one of those people, by the way.
Even on
Okay.
a rewatch.
Even on a rewatch, I found the setup to be a bit clunky.
Even do you feel like it was worse on a rewatch, or do you feel like it was?
I just
okay.
also felt like it was the same thing. I'm like, okay, let's get going, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. The first big scene, Cyclops scene. Polyphemus.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the Cyclops scene.
Man, Nolan doing some horror.
I mean, Nolan's
Yeah.
really leaning into
Yeah.
horror big time in
Yeah.
this movie. Your initial reaction to the Cyclops scene, Sid?
I was a little nervous going into it because we'd seen, some stills of what the Cyclops looked like. We'd heard that I heard beforehand that they had used like a giant puppet to do it. So I was extremely excited to see how that played out. But I was like, oh no, like, is he going to do it? Like, is it going to be like as good as we think it's going to be? And I totally thought it delivered. I think the design of the Cyclops is so brilliant. It looks so good. The way like his skin looks, and he's kind of this like big naked baby, and like he's got like the Picasso sideways eye, and he doesn't I think I like that he doesn't really speak. But then when he is like
okay.
crying and they're like, oh, he can speak, and they're like, would you speak to ants? Like, I think that's sort of a good way to work around the fact that they have like full conversations in the poem. It's a very dark scene, but I think
Literally.
that works. No, I mean literally. Like, it's really
you meant
dark.
literally. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like you can't see what's happening. And
It's also dark,
it is
figuratively
dark.
speaking.
Yes. You can barely see what's happening, but I think that works too. Like, I think Nolan is obviously so much about like immersion, and I think the naturalistic lighting in a lot of these scenes does work because you feel like you're in the cave and you can barely make out the shadow of this like giant hand coming down to grab some of the men. And so yeah, I'm glad that it is one of the trials they face that gets a little bit more breathing room, because there was a time where I thought they were gonna just like escape right away, and I was like, hold up, this is like supposed to be
I
like
wanna
this
see
whole
more, I
big
wanna see
thing.
more.
Yeah. And it was. So Oh, and you know what else I say? It felt to me like it was kind of modeled after the bronze statue scene in Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh,
Like a little bit. I
nice
forget.
little shout out over there.
Yeah.
Has any podcast covered that movie before?
we have.
We have
We have, everyone.
on the Patreon.
Also, since we're on a slight tangent anyways, I think in that episode where we talked about Jason the Argonauts, did I make a bet on that episode where I said, oh, Nolan's totally going to name drop Jason in the Argonauts
You
in
did.
the
Do
movie?
Oh,
that.
yes, you did.
You did do that.
Sad to say he did
It
not.
did not.
No,
happen.
he did not.
There was a moment. There's one moment in this movie where Odysseus is talking to somebody. I can't remember when, and he's recounting some like famous warriors. He says Achilles. He says some like two other people.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, say Jason,
Jason.
say Jason, say Jason.
That's so funny.
He did not say Jason in the Argonauts. Although his name is Argus, so
There you go.
that's
Oh.
kind of close.
No, it doesn't.
Is that
count,
what he's
but-
named in the poem?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I fear.
Back to Polyphemus the Cyclops. Clara, your thoughts on it?
I agree with everything Sid's saying. I think it's such a fun scene. I also prefer, I think, that the Cyclops isn't actually like speaking, or if
Oh,
he is, we
wow.
don't really understand him. I think that makes for a more interesting dynamic, especially when Odysseus chooses to fire the arrow at him. Because in a way, like, the Cyclops is like such a dangerous threat, but the lack of language and just like the way he's acting after he's been hurt makes him feel so vulnerable. And so Odysseus choosing to shoot the arrow at him feels even more like cruel. And I think that works well. I think that wouldn't feel as like upsetting in a way, or like critical of Odysseus if they'd been talking and like kind of going back and forth, because it in a way humanizes the Cyclops in a way that I don't think benefits the like what he's being used for in this movie.
I think ultimately I agree in that because Nolan's angle is to keep the gods out of the movie, it works. In the poem, I like that he speaks, because the big difference here is that in the poem, as they're leaving the cave, Odysseus, out of an immense amount of pride, says like, tell everyone Odysseus is the one that defeated you. And that then
want him to
leads to
know it was me.
Polyphemus. Yeah, I wanted it. It's basically what he says. Tell Cersei it was me. There's someone named Cersei in this movie too. essentially that's what happens in the poem. And that leads to Polyphemus then going to Poseidon saying, Dad, go get this Odysseus guy. He fucked with me, and I want you to get payback for me. And so I like the decision ultimately that he doesn't speak in this scene. And I think that him shooting the arrow is, in a sense, that same decision of like, he just can't help himself.
Yeah.
You know, Odysseus just sometimes has too much pride and wants to get that last payback before leaving, you know? So I like that decision. I think the scene is just immaculately set up and staged. I think the darkness works really well. It's the right darkness to which, like, yeah, I can't see anything, but I can see the things Nolan wants me to see.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Right. Because the idea is, in part, you want to be like straining to see what's in the darkness because you're scared and you want to feel like where he's at and you can't, and it's disorientating. That works really nicely.
It works really well when the Cyclops turns around and is like chewing on some guy and like his arm falls out of his mouth. Works really well. In the final chase scene where it like chases them down the mountain and is kind of like screaming. Oh, the sound design is fantastic.
Yeah.
The way he sounds is really great.
Absolutely.
So we love the Cyclops scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cersei's island and Cersei's transformation of the soldiers into pigs.
Love it.
Dude,
Even more
I thought
horrifying.
that was wild. I like couldn't believe Nolan did that.
It was really scary.
It was very scary.
You know what it reminded me of? This is a terrible comparison. I can't believe I'm doing this. It's so sacrilegious, and I should be
Spirited
banned
Away?
Whoa.
from being a
What?
podcast. No.
That wouldn't be sacrilegious. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be good.
Remember in the movie Deadpool and Wolverine?
Oh. Okay.
Why? When?
Okay, what's going on?
Time, Emma Corrin's character is like playing with the
and like
they
putting
can like manipulate their
her-
face.
Yeah,
like,
and she
Yeah.
sticks her fingers.
yeah, she sticks her
in-
fingers inside Matthew McFadden's like face.
Yeah, and drags him on the ground.
and like that it reminded me of that.
I totally
That's so
see that.
funny because I thought of the queer blending bodies scene as well,
That
which is
too.
the
Yeah, yeah,
similar
yeah.
thing of like
There's
you
like the
know,
morphing, stretching of the
morphing.
bodies.
Yes.
I was not expecting this to happen. I mean, I knew that Cersei would turn them into pigs, but I didn't know this is the route we were going to go.
I know. I figured it would kind of be like off screen or something.
Yeah, but
Oh,
we
that's
spent
interesting.
so much. This is why I kind of disagree with what you said earlier, because we spent so much time watching Cersei literally sculpt these people into pigs,
Yeah, yeah.
which I found to be terrifying.
Yeah, and I love it too. Just the actors in that moment too of the men. I do
yeah.
want to shout them out as well. Of like this idea of like they can't stop the food from going down their throats, and
Dude, nasty.
they can see what's happening, and you can see it all in their eyes that they're terrified, but there's
Yeah.
nothing to be done. I think they convey the terror of that moment really effectively.
And that looked to me like it was reversed footage.
I think
like
it
like
was.
when
I
they
thought that
filmed
too.
it, they were like spitting the food out, and then when you
Yes.
reverse it, it's like the food is literally forcing
Going in.
itself down their
Yeah.
throat,
Exactly.
which is so like you're being choked basically.
Yeah.
It's,
Have
like,
we
so
seen
scary.
confirmation of that? It has to be, just the way it's filmed.
I haven't seen confirmation, but I had a moment where I thought that as well, because I think there's one shot of a guy and there's like a little trail of it that instead of like
Dropping, it, like-
dropping, it's like going up.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
randomly. I'm like, oh, okay, it must be in reverse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great scene.
Yeah.
Very good.
Nolan future horror movie, maybe.
I know. It's like
He's got
it's
the
a scary
juice.
scene.
He's got the juice. He has the skills to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
There's one
scene.
where she's like shoving her fist like down one of the guy's
Down the throat.
I was like,
Yeah.
"What? Oh, that was so not necessary, but I'm like glad that you did that.
It was
at
awesome.
one point, one of their faces in such a a phase of the transformation, it looked like in American Werewolf in London.
Yeah,
yeah,
I wonder.
noticed that.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what the blend of practical and VFX that was, because it seems
Yeah.
like it's a good mix.
I
does.
would agree. Yeah, there are a lot of moments where she's like shoving their
Mm-hmm.
faces like together. And oh, it looks gnarly.
It's great.
She's
Well,
so
and I love it
talented.
too that it's so physical because it speaks.
She's an artist, okay?
She's-
yeah,
artist.
it speaks really nicely to just like her entire reasoning behind why she's doing it as well. It's like they've been raping and violating people across the land, and now she's kind of effectively doing the same thing to
Right.
them and like contorting them so physically in a way that is awful. I think that works really nicely.
I mean, I love that
point.
scene because she tells him like, "What did you think sending like 20 guys here? How do you think I would react?
Yeah.
20 guys who are starving and thirsty and exhausted. You think they were going to treat me well? You think you thought I
Exactly.
was going to be safe?
Yeah.
It's a good ass scene, man.
Really
that is
good.
good. Wow.
Unfortunately, the next scene I don't find that good. The giant knights, which I believe are maybe pronunciation of this one.
Lethophagus, something.
Lestragonians is what I wrote down. Lestragonians. They're supposed to be giant cannibals in the poem. This scene didn't do much for me at all. I got to be honest with you guys.
It's like it's not doing much beyond, I think, like in a way knocking them all down a peg. Like they're already like at a point where they've been traveling for much longer than they want, but they're still like on the tail end of like this righteous victory that like you never would have expected. Like who would have thought Troy would fall? And then they go here and are just massacred like so easily. I like it in that context of like these guys aren't the warriors they probably think they are. But overall, yeah, it's probably the weakest one
Pit
here.
stop.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it, Sid?
I totally agree with Claira. I think that the thing I like about the presentation of a lot of these challenges they face is that they're like running away with their tail between their legs. Like it's like an anti-heroic thing that happens. And yeah, but I think Nolan was in a tricky spot because you are going to get flack for like not including one of the big things that happens in the Odyssey. And I don't think every single thing that happens needs to be this like completely different thing and represent this completely different thing. But I do think the giants feel like just superfluous. Like we don't really learn anything that we can't glean from the rest of it. I did think it was cool as hell though, and was wondering like how the hell they did that. And made the giants.
From a technicality standpoint, I love the way they look.
Yeah, they look awesome.
I think it's a really cool moment when they're, throwing people against trees. The trees are exploding.
Yeah.
There's like this. I like those moments, but I do find it to be the most superfluous
That's
of the journey. Moving on from that, we had the Hades scene.
Oh.
I mean, it's the Hades scene.
It's so good.
This is top 2 scenes of the movie for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to add anything more to it than what we've already discussed. Elliot Page being fantastic. I like the flashback with Agamemnon and his wife. Mm-hmm. Do we want to add anything else to this?
I'll just say it reminded me a bit of the show Barry, and that was cool.
Oh,
but that doesn't make sense unless you've watched Barry.
Understand.
Yeah,
that's okay.
We'll know that.
People who watch Barry know.
They'll know. A couple people in the audience listening now, they're like, "Oh my god, I knew that."
Barry reference.
Tiresias, the prophet, very scary.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the scene, man.
It's phenomenal.
Again, like Sid said, another pit stop they have on this journey that they are running with their tail between their legs.
Absolutely.
Back to the ship.
Something interesting is that in the trailer, you get the shot of Odysseus going, "Let's go!" and they're all like running. And people thought it sounded silly because it seemed in the trailer like he was like leading them into battle.
Oh,
but
like
in
style?
context, they're running the fuck away. Yeah, like, let's fucking go. Yeah, exactly. Like, let's go. And it's not that at all. And I think that's like such a good representation of what the movie is and what I think the brilliance of the movie is in almost a meta way. And that when you see this like different perspective of the sacking of Troy at the end, it recontextualizes everything, and it's the same for the viewers. Like we are now, like when you see it again, you're like seeing all of these events from a different perspective. But yeah, the underworld scene is so spooky and morbid. I was kind of sad. In the poem, he talks to his mom, and I thought that was interesting. But I get why that wasn't part
Nolan
of it.
said, "I already have too many women in
Too many
movie."
women.
Too many.
Maxing out at 2 or 3.
I love how aesthetically different this scene is too.
Yeah.
From
it
a
feels
visual
so
standpoint.
different. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
is
like that. Yeah, it's not like, ooh, we're going down into like the river Styx and it's like hell and stuff like that. I like that it's just sort of this like spooky little place they sail to.
Spooky little beach.
Spooky little beach. Yeah, everything in here is either a beach or a spooky little beach. There was one shot too when they're leaving, when it cuts back to all the like faded silhouettes against the blue skyline. I thought that was like one of my favorite shots in the film.
Oh, stunning.
I mean, it really emphasizes all the men that have died on behalf of Odysseus.
The sheer like volume of lives.
His decisions have led to like all these people being on this beach, wanting like revenge on him. Essentially, like here's the consequences of your cleverness.
Yeah.
Which again, I know Homer really points out that Odysseus' cleverness and his ability to think quick on his feet is such a admirable and honorable thing. I think it's really bold of Nolan to say, like, what if it wasn't?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Hades, Charybdis, and Scylla. I mean, the eating scary whirlpool
Yeah.
that they avoid for 2 seconds, and then they get attacked by the.
I spent more time brushing my teeth than it took for this scene to happen.
That was really kind of I was disappointed. I gotta admit, like
Really?
it's a big ass whirlpool that should be. I feel like it should have been something that they actively were trying to fight against, or I don't know. I want to spend more than 2 seconds on that scene. The trailer, and this is the trailer's fault, obviously, but the trailer really emphasized like the boat's going towards the whirlpool. Oh no, they're gonna like spin in it for a while or something. Like how are they gonna get out? Kind of bummed that they got out immediately. And then the jump scare of the Hydra taking people off scared me when I was watching it the first time. I jumped pretty hard.
In the trailer or in the
in the movie. Because like we did it, we got out, we're safe.
Yeah.
And all of a
And
sudden,
then the
like,
one guy gets
the
got.
Hydra comes out,
Yeah.
and it scared me, and I jumped.
Yeah.
But the second time I did not jump.
That's funny.
But I also, because we're fresh off Jason the Argonauts, I thought that the Hydra was the clashing rock for a second.
Just for a second.
Oh.
Because I thought the clashing rock was more important.
Well, and it's a similar setup of like they're going through this very narrow channel with these huge sheer cliff faces, and you're looking up, and you're just
Exactly.
kind of expecting
the
it
setup
to
is very
collapse on
similar
them.
to Jason the Argonauts. So I was like,
Absolutely.
oh, it's the clashing rock. I know this. I know this.
Yeah, that's where
Okay,
in
I
my
see.
brain I was like, this is where they'll mention Jason, and then they did it.
They're like, this is how Jason got out. This is how
Jason
we get
went
out.
this way.
He should have been Jason should have been in
this.
this. Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be so funny to like the 5 people who watch Jason. the
I know.
Argonauts.
We're doing real deep cut references
Damn.
today.
But anyways, these scenes are like what we have said earlier,
Yeah.
fleeting to me. Do you want to add anything to them, Sid?
I don't know, like thinking about it, I'm like, is this genius or am I kind of annoyed by it? Because in the poem it's like, oh, like our mast is like stuck in the whirlpool and we have to do like all this crazy shit to like get out of this situation. And in the movie, the only thing that happens in that scene is that Odysseus decides to do something without telling anyone else that will kill 6 of his men. Like he just makes that decision and basically sacrifices 6 of his men. And it's another one of those like noble lies and him thinking that he has this like responsibility to do all this stuff that just ends up in people's deaths. And so is it just is this like intentional on the behalf of Christopher Nolan that it's so anticlimactic, I guess.
I think so. Because the idea too is that he's perpetually trying to fight against what is essentially the god's decision. He's fighting against fate, quote unquote, of all of his men are going to die, and he's trying to actively fight against that. And he again and again is having to either make decisions that lead to at least some of their deaths, or there's just no way to prevent it in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this is an intentional decision to make it anticlimactic and make it more about Odysseus' decisions rather than what the events are actually unfolding.
Right.
And what happens. That's a decision you can make. I still am going to be disappointed by it because I'm still
know.
wanting to see these things that I've read about and kind of imagined in my brain in a way that I would love to see on screen. But I understand the decision that's made.
Yeah, because in all of, I guess this, save for the Cyclops maybe, but they don't really do anything in any of the places that they go.
Yeah, besides the next one, which I'm going to mention, is when they land on Apollo's Island. And they are there, hungry, run out of food and rations. And so they know if they kill Apollo's cows, they will die. Yet
Yeah.
they do anyways. That's kind of the last big pit stop before their ship is broken by who they assume is Zeus punishing them for eating Apollo's cows. Any thoughts on that last sequence?
The island itself, it's like you kind of are just like waiting. You know it's coming, that they will break their promise, and so you are just kind of waiting for that. But I will say I really like the scene of the ship being broken apart and just like, it again, like it's another scene that like really kind of scared me, like in terms of how it was shot and just the emotions it's able to capture so effectively. And like just that last shot of the crew floating away on half the boat and they're all beaten and hurt and like clearly going to be dead very, very soon. You really feel how devastating the loss is, which I think is impressive when we know very few of their names and little of them beyond what we've seen so far of their journey.
Say, you want to add anything to that?
I agree. When I said they don't do anything, I meant like there's no display of like great skill or heroics in any of these scenes. But yes, when they get to Apollo's Island, like they now are faced with this decision. Yeah, like do you die or do you take something from someone else to survive? And I think it's interesting because Odysseus is like the main focal point of criticism here, but his men aren't like good people either. Like they're also doing all this shit, and so they're all just sort of like running from their fates and running from their sins that they've committed. And it is sad to see. I do love the ship breaking apart scene, and I also love the discovery of them like hunkering down and like eating the cow flesh.
Like
there's
the
just
pit.
something sort of like dark about that to me. So I do like that. Is this just like final test of will and like final, because it's true, like what else were they gonna do? But that's the thing, is that this was just the fate that was awaiting them because of what they've done.
I mean, I love the decision Nolan makes to characterize these men as not really heroes. They're not skilled warriors. They go to different islands and civilizations and prey on the weak and take what they need and leave. There's a scene towards the beginning of the movie after they've left Troy where they stop at some random island and they're burning down all the houses. They have someone hostage and they're like, why did you run from us? We just wanted food and water and what we needed. You made us do this, essentially.
Right, yeah.
And the guy, they're translating, the guy's like, well, you're not going to have a good journey, by the way, because you're going the wrong way or something.
Right.
So I like the decision constantly to kind of characterize these people who are just not good warriors, but it does lead to some maybe more anticlimactic scenes from the poem that I kind of expected to be more outrageous and big and epic.
Right.
Fair.
But I think with time, everyone will begin to like appreciate it.
I agree.
For what it's doing.
Absolutely will agree.
sure.
It is just one of those things we have to shed the expectations of what you know about the Odyssey.
Yeah.
The next big scene is, we talked kind of ad nauseum about, so we don't have to go into it again, but it's Odysseus arriving to Ithaca. He goes to Pylos to save his son, kills the bandits there. We get the confession of what happened at Troy, and then we get the final climactic fight scene where he kills all the suitors.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on this big final battle, Clara?
Well, I do just really want to quickly add to the other thing I really like about the real invasion of Troy is that's where I think also the movie harkens back to Oppenheimer the most, in that with the sound design, as you're like going through Troy and you're hearing all the screaming but the screaming is associated with victory is so intrinsically in conversation with Oppenheimer's scene where they've successfully made the nuclear bomb and you have all the people in the stadium like stomping their feet and cheering, but they're cheering for the annihilation of a people. And I think it's really interesting to see Nolan harken back to that idea so quickly, but again, so effectively in just like conveying how victory is so often tied to like mass death.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And I like how they use the language of, I forget who says it, but they say with the sea people, like whatever this is like spreading like a plague in the same way of that like chain reaction in Oppenheimer of like destroying the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, this is, we've said it 100 times, but it's the scene of the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of defines what this movie's about. Just whether Odysseus' greatest achievement is his biggest moral failing.
Yeah.
Love that scene. I wanted to say something about Oppie, but I forgot already. I just watched it the other day. That scene still hits really hard.
Yeah. I'm excited to rewatch it.
I wanted to bring up the sirens. We didn't mention the sirens.
That's right.
It is. We kind of briefly mentioned
Yeah,
earlier.
because I had said that's one of my favorite scenes for Matt Damon.
Scene.
Yeah.
wax in the ears, sirens. Some guy jumps out of the boat.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to the sirens at all, Sid?
I wanted to see more siren.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
That's
I
fair.
love a good
Yeah.
mer woman.
Nolan
I
is shy
do
about
like,
naked women.
He is shy. Well,
A little bit,
Not an
Oppie.
oppie.
But
True.
I like the sound design in that one when they put the wax in
Yeah.
one ear, like the sound
And,
muffles,
yeah.
and then he puts it in the other ear, and the sound completely
I
cuts out.
loved that. That was awesome.
Really cool.
I do
moment.
like
Yeah.
the way the voiceover describes what's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really
yeah.
And that
like
they,
that
they
monologue.
lose a guy. I did want to ask you guys, do you think this feels like an R-rated movie?
I'm
Oh,
so glad you're bringing this up.
okay.
No.
Okay.
Well, I thought it was PG-13 until I heard the third F word, and then I was like, oh, this is a rated R movie. It has to be.
Oh.
Because there's
Interesting.
the first F word in the movie. Do you guys remember it? Because it made me laugh really hard, and it made me laugh the second time harder.
I don't remember
No,
any
I
of them.
can't say it.
Okay,
Yeah, I
I
can't.
remember all of them.
I'm like, they said fuck?
They say fuck 3 times in this movie. 3 times.
Nice. Hell yeah.
The first time
Odysseus,
is
what the fuck?
what the fuck, Odysseus? That hurt. No, the first time they say the F word is in towards the beginning. They've just completed the sack of Troy. They want to go home. He has said bye to Agamemnon, and he goes, "We've been on this fucking beach for too long." Or something along the
Really?
something along those lines.
They were not
Or-
saying that.
That's
So they
awesome.
said that. And then they say it 2 more times, and it's from one character, and it's Corey Hawkins' character.
Oh, okay.
And it's when he's disguised as a beggar. He's asking for food, and Corey Hawkins is like, "Get the fuck out of my face."
Yep.
And then he does
Okay.
it again. He's like, "I said, get the fuck out of my face." And that's the
Okay.
only 3 F words in the movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's the only time I knew it was rated R, by the way,
Okay.
is what I'm getting at.
Is
'Cause
when
if-
you got that
That's so
double F bomb
funny.
at the
when
end.
if there's no double F bomb, I was assuming it was PG-13.
Right, because they get one.
Yeah, they only get 1.
yeah.
So that's to answer your question.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to ask you guys because I think there are obviously some moments, but are there? That like I guess like the Cersei morphing the guys is what I think of as like
Morphing them.
horrific. what did I say?
Murphin.
Murphin them?
No,
Morphing
morphing the guys.
Smurfing them?
Jorking it.
No,
can't
we
say that without
no,
people
we
knowing
made
the
it. No,
context.
we made it so
Look,
far.
subscribe
to the
without
Patreon.
working it. We'd made it so
It's a
many weeks.
Patreon joke. That's a
Yeah.
horrific scene.
But is that even an R-rated scene? Because there's no
I
blood.
wouldn't say so.
No,
This is a pretty bloodless film. Like even when the Cyclops is eating the guys, you don't really see a lot of blood or carnage.
There's a
I
little
was
bit of gore
surprised.
coming out of his mouth
Yeah,
at
on
the
his
end.
mouth. He needs a
bit.
little napkin to clean
Yeah.
up. You know. But yeah, like an arm falls out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I guess the ending climactic scene is the scene where we get the most like
Right.
quote unquote violence.
Yeah.
But even that is pretty bloodless.
It is pretty
pretty
bloodless,
bloodless.
actually.
Interesting decision. I have a really hot take
Interesting.
on this final scene, by the way.
Oh, what is it? Say it.
So we're now here.
Yeah.
Any last shout outs before we move on?
No, do it.
Okay, we've made it to the final scene. Odysseus has revealed himself. He's strung his bow. He shot his arrow through the axis, which love, by the way, because the poem is so ambiguous to how this is set up. Every adaptation of the scene is different. It's so
Yeah.
funny. So he's shot the bow, the arrow through the axis. You get that great moment where Corey Hawkins is like, "You're Odysseus," and he is boom shot in the neck. Cue
Yeah.
the clapping in the theater because my
Yeah.
theater goes nuts.
Yeah, the
Twice
theater
it
went
nuts.
bonkers.
And then at that point, Odysseus kills all the suitors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to hear what you guys think of the scene first before I give you my hot take.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So what do you guys think of this scene? So what do you think of this scene?
I think it's good. I'm like, what is your hot take?
we'll
I
get
think
into
it's
it.
great. I think it's. I wonder. Do I think it's like the strongest action scene of the film?
Well, it's the only action scene
Yeah,
in
it
the
kind of is
film.
the only.
Is it the only action scene in the film? I guess if you
Besides,
look at
like-
the sacking of Troy.
Yeah, the
Yeah, or
invasion
like
of
the
Troy.
fight in the woods, kind of.
Maybe I like the sacking of Troy more. I think it's great. I mean, it's this, but it's also, I think, also like a dark scene in that it's Odysseus just like killing a bunch of people like
Yeah.
one last time.
Mm-hmm.
I like the cross cutting between Odysseus and Telemachus upstairs trying to stop the guy, and he like uses what he learned from John Leguizamo's character to kill Logan Marshall Green, who I think it's like so funny that he's in this movie. Because I totally forgot he was cast. And then I saw him and I was like, wait, who is, I know that actor. Like, who is that? And I was like, holy
love that
shit.
guy.
Jesus Christ. It's Logan Marshall Green.
It's Logan Marshall Green.
I think it's good.
Okay.
Clara?
I think it's good too. I don't know if I have anything
More to say.
foundational or like worth adding to it.
I mean, yeah.
What's your hot
I
take?
think it's a cool scene.
Okay.
My hot take is this, and please hear me out on this.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think Nolan's great at staging action.
Oh.
How fucking dare you? I don't want to hear that.
I'm sorry.
I don't
And
like that.
I think historically, Nolan doesn't hire a second unit to help with staging his action. He likes to do it himself. And I don't know if he's that good at it. When it
Oh.
comes to like choreography and hand-to-hand stuff and the way it's edited, I don't know if it's amazing, if we're being completely honest.
I'll give you the editing is a little rough in this, especially with like, because there's just so much going on. We're going up, we're going down,
Yeah,
and then the
it's-
weapons falling to the ground, and they keep the rapidity of when they're cutting through all that is a little much, I think.
It's not as digestible as I want action to be.
Okay.
And I see this a lot in The Dark Knight too. I think the action in Dark Knight is kind of like
Don't say that. Don't say that.
very stiff at times.
Don't say that.
It's very like,
No.
and I find there are still elements of that in this final moment. There are some cool scenes and cool moments in it, no doubt. I just kind of wonder like what does this look like if he hires a secondary unit to like help with the action choreography itself and like planning it, shooting it, staging it, etc.
That's fair.
That's my only thought.
I'm glad you brought it up. I don't think that that's a hot take. I don't think it's a cold take, but I do think a lot of people would agree with you. I don't really go to Nolan for like well staged like hand to hand combat.
Nor do I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He,
I don't.
He takes us there though. Sometimes
He
Like, we
does
have to
take
go
us
there.
there.
He does go there.
I mean, this action is shot very much like how he did it for Batman. It's very like I think in Batman, you feel. I like that you like feel the like weight of all the punches that are thrown. Instead, like I think of like Batman fighting Bane and how they're both just like these like massive guys. You like feel the impact of the hits. But yeah, Nolan. I mean, that interview of him has been going around where he's like, I'm not really thinking of blocking in like creating like an image really. He's thinking of proximity to the action, and I think that you can feel that a lot in his action
I think
scenes
so as
because they're just kind of like all this shit is going on and we're just trying to like bring the viewer into the moment. We're not thinking about creating like like the art of like hand-to-hand combat. We're not really thinking about creating like well choreographed, well framed combat. It's more like yeah, it's not
what
very
you're
like
saying,
legible.
yeah.
It's not super like legible as something that's like crafted. But I think that it kind of lends itself well to a scene like this because we're not watching like a stylized action film. It's supposed to feel like all these guys in this room are like brawling and it's chaotic. And they might be skilled swordsmen and you like see moments like that, but really it's this very just like frantic, like bloodthirsty thing. And so I think it works well in that way, but I also completely agree with you that I don't watch, Nolan hand-to-hand combat and I'm like, see ya, Chad Stahelski. Like it's just not like that. I go to Nolan for like set pieces.
Exactly. And that's ultimately like kind of like the you kind of have to accept that when you go to a Nolan movie. I think I noticed it more like the contrast more when the Batman came out. And like I watched Matt Reeves' The Batman and like the action in that is so much more focused on like the movement of Batman and less about the set piece. When Nolan is so much more about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's just kind of like something I gravitate more towards is that I want to be able to like really process and see what's happening. And that's not exactly what he's going for in that scene, and that's okay. But that's why I find it to be like a cool scene simply because thematically and like what it means for the story.
Yeah.
But I'm not like blown away by like the individual action pieces.
See, and that makes sense why I'm disagreeing maybe more is because that's the sort of action I prefer. I don't gravitate towards the more like intimate stuff
Totally fair.
necessarily.
Yeah. And I think if it felt too stylized, it would kind of like ruin the immersion because it would be so different than that sort of just
I don't know
like
about that.
throw the camera there style that Nolan's usually doing. Not that he actually just is like throw the camera there, but
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
shoots differently than like a lot of directors.
Exactly. It's just like his style of directing.
I will say during the scene I was thinking, I was like, I do wonder, because they can only shoot for 3 minutes at a time. Are they all just like going at it and they're like, all right, cut, and they all just have to like
Freeze.
and like wait for them to do, and then they're like, wow, they like have to
Do it again.
get back into it.
Maybe.
I think that probably is what's happening.
Yeah.
It is a fun scene. It is really great to see Antonius get his comeuppance from
Yeah.
Odysseus, and
It's nice.
it's very satisfying.
Yeah.
Very satisfying. That leads us to the final moments of the movie. Odysseus, I love how he's like pretending he's gonna die in Penelope's arms. By the way,
Diva, you're such a diva.
don't die on me, Odysseus.
Nah.
He's like, I'm not dying.
Call an
Self-exile
ambulance.
though.
Call an
Getting
ambulance,
exiled,
but
baby.
not for me.
That's literally what
That's
it
exactly
is.
what he's doing. Call an ambulance, but not for me. No, he's like, we need to travel to the west, self-exile.
Well,
but
follow the sun.
I love the full circle moment of like, get your fastest ship. Like that was brought up earlier in the movie when they wanted to like run away together, and now they're doing it again. But to go on this final journey to hopefully put his soldiers at rest and kind of ease his guilt a little bit.
Yeah.
Telemachus is now old enough to care for Ithaca. This is very different from the ending of the Odyssey.
Yep, very.
Which is just Odysseus staying in Ithaca. Any last thoughts on the ending, Sid?
I think it's an interesting ending. I think it's in a way a happy ending for Odysseus and Penelope, and that they get, I think Odysseus has like learned his lesson and is looking to make amends with his men and stuff, and I think that that's nice. But is it him who has the line about how he's like, in the future, like we'll just like forget the mistakes that we made again? So it's pretty bleak in that they're like, hey, we ruined the world and it's gonna be ruined again at some point.
It's true,
So
J.
it's a
Robert
little-
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I know,
Odysseus.
literally.
Sorry, wrong guy.
Yeah, so I think it's a nice conclusion for Odysseus, but I like that it doesn't act like Odysseus getting a happy ending means that the impact of what he did has just gone away.
Yeah, he's not absolved of what he's done, but there is like this, it's a silver lining of sorts, and that he is able to kind of hopefully come to peace with what's happened, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah. And I think that's nice too. I think it'll be easy for some people to like look past that sort of conclusion, but this is ultimately saying as well, like the men in power, however burdened they may be by what they've done, like will ultimately come away mostly unscathed.
Yeah.
And it's that's like a rage-inducing conclusion to kind of end things on. Like it's romantic of like, oh, they're going away together and they are finally together and it's so nice, and it's very wife guy, which is very Nolan too.
Yeah.
But it is also very harrowing of just like, yeah, they just ruined the world and now they get to sail away and be happy together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that is unfair.
Oh, speaking of men being unscathed, it makes me think of Agamemnon being killed by his wife, and we haven't mentioned Lupita Nyong'o, who was also in it very sparingly.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I thought she really made the most of the moments
I
that
loved
she
it.
had.
I liked her role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked her as Helen. I liked her more as Helen. Well, you get more of Helen.
You get way more
than
of
of
Helen,
Clytemnestra, but love what she's doing in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember in the Odyssey. Do you get a lot more on of Clytemnestra killing Agamemnon at all?
I don't
Or is it just like a
know.
quick, here's what happened?
I think it's
just
I
like in
think
a movie?
it is
Yeah.
in the underworld scene. He's like, yeah,
He
dude,
tells
like
him,
my
right?
wife killed me. Like, be careful.
Be careful going home.
Be
Watch
careful.
out,
You
women
never
be
know.
crazy.
Dude, one of my prevailing thoughts reading the poem was I was like, Homer was super afraid of women.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure they all were back then.
That's funny.
But yeah, she's great. I like that Helen has her moment of being like, I'm sorry for everything that happened, like in my name. Like even she feels.
I
the
love
guilt
that
of
moment.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sucks that she has to say sorry, considering
I know, because it's like she shouldn't.
she
But, you know,
left
she's like-
Menelaus,
Yeah.
She can actually see like what's going on for what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, good moment.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Anything else? I mean, we've gone over the movie beat for beat. We've
know,
talked
wow.
almost every single character, every single performance. We've talked and don't need to go into great discussion or length about how beautiful the movie is. How do you guys feel about the Ludwig Göransson score?
Oh, I like it a lot.
Oh.
I thought it was really good.
I've heard some people feel that it's a bit underwhelming.
Oh.
And I'm kind of curious if you're in that camp at all. You're clearly not.
I don't think so. If anything, I almost like that it's maybe a little lower than what you'd expect in a Nolan film because it really makes you feel what the characters are experiencing more, like on a direct level. Like the music obviously helps, but it's not doing the heavy lifting.
That's
I
true.
agree.
I think in some.
Go ahead.
You
No,
go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead. No,
I was
no,
gonna
go
say,
ahead.
I think in some scenes it is. I don't want to say it feels overpowering in like a negative way, but a lot of the action scenes, it's interesting. Like I don't think this is a score that I'm gonna be like listening to the way that I would listen to the Oppenheimer score.
Can you hear the music?
Yeah. Oh, God, what a good. I
Great
think
song.
that's like the greatest score ever. There are some tracks that are like really beautiful, but a lot of the ones for like action scenes and stuff are just very percussive, and it's like dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. So I don't know. I'm curious to like actually listen to it when it's out.
That's what I was going to say. A second
Okay.
watch, you really start to appreciate it more.
Okay.
Because the first watch, I was in the camp of like, this is a little underwhelming.
Oh, okay.
And it's possible I am working with like Oppenheimer bias in that like the score is so prominent in that
Oppenheimer
film.
score is like essential.
I mean, there are music cues in that film.
Yeah.
You know, Kenneth Branagh says, "Can you hear the
hear the
music?"
music.
And it cuts into the song
Oh,
as
it's so
like
good.
it's incredible. Like
Yeah.
whoa, chills. And that doesn't really happen in this movie at all. It's so much more of like a supporting character in this film. Second watch, I find myself so much more moved by it because it doesn't overwhelm a lot of scenes, I thought, and it really just kind of just emphasizes a lot of the emotions it's going for.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot. I'm a fan
Okay.
for sure.
Cool.
He's not doing Dune 3, is he? Or is Zimmer's doing 3?
Zimmer's doing 3?
I don't know. Who's doing
Must
Dune
be
3's
Zimmer.
score?
Let me try and
Or
see.
yeah, are we
I would
swapping
assume
out
it's
multiple
Zimmer.
people?
Dune Part 3. Let's see.
I don't know. It has to be Zimmer. Clara's checking.
I'm looking
Clara's checking.
for Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
That's sort of the assumption was. I'm sure it'll get an Oscar nod anyways, though, because it's Ludwig
Yeah.
Göransson.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so we talked. I mean, everything at this point, besides some bigger questions here outside the film.
Maybe
But is there any last thing about this film specifically you want to shout out? This is your time now. Zeus's Law. What do you want to do? I was going to say Zeus's Law for anything now.
That's fun.
It may not even make sense. I'm like, Zeus's Law. What
It's
do you want
just
to do?
a rule.
It's just a rule.
I'm looking through the cast. Like, is there anyone who? Oh, Travis Scott.
Wish he was in it more.
Yeah. Well, I like that he was. A little appearance as the bard. I thought the song and the credits song was great.
So good.
Yeah, it was
I
really
really,
good.
fucking good.
liked
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I like the movie opens up with Travis Scott.
I know.
like,
I know. I
banging
was.
on the
I was
thing.
like,
Yeah,
oh
I
my
thought
god,
that was
people will never
cool.
guess. The first
Yeah.
two people you kind of see are Travis Scott and Elliot Page, which was not
Yeah.
what I thought.
It's
would
fucking
happen.
cool, man.
Rocks.
Fucking cool.
Yeah, really liked that inclusion. And I just think Nolan's cool, man. Like everyone was talking about, all of these like anachronistic elements, but Nolan, I think, makes movies the right way in that he's trying to reach like an emotional truth. And everyone always complains about how literal he is, but now he's like, oh, I think it's really interesting to include a rapper as the bard because it's all
bard,
about
yeah.
like storytelling and like that oral tradition and things like that. And that, we see Tom Holland saying dad because that will like hopefully elicit a reaction out of us as we exist as humans now. Even if you think it doesn't play out well in the film, I can't imagine like not understanding like why a filmmaker might want to do that.
Hey,
So-
People like to be stubborn.
again,
Yeah, they
I don't
do.
need to get into like why people are feeling this certain way. I think a lot of us know why they feel a certain way. Racism. But the language never bothered me in this film.
No, me
ever.
neither.
No,
And
me
I love decisions like that to make like Travis Scott a renowned rapper, the bard. I think that's a really, really cool decision. I think
I
it's
agree.
a very modern, contemporary nod to like why these poems have existed for so long.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything
Okay.
else? Claire, any last minute things?
I'm excited to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the plans here? Do you want to rewatch it X amount of times? One, two, three, four?
I'm not gonna put a number on. Like I saw Oppenheimer. I ended up seeing that in theaters like 4 or 5 times. I think because I was just so jazzed on that. I don't think I'd get to that point with this necessarily unless like people are texting me and like, will you go with me?
Yeah.
Then I'll go. But I'm for sure seeing it again on Thursday, and then we'll see how I'm feeling.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Sid?
I have tickets to see it Thursday and Friday in 70 millimeter IMAX again, which I'm so excited for. And then maybe I'll see it again when I'm in Boston. Maybe I'll take like my sister and her husband or something. So yeah, I'm planning to see it a few times. How do you feel now that because you weren't sure if it's like a movie you'd want to rewatch a bunch, but now that you've seen it again and clicked with it more, are you like
I
more
am
open to it?
only not open to watching again simply because I don't want to deal with traffic and parking and do that whole song and dance.
Fair.
If I was going to like an empty theater by myself, I probably would do that.
Damn, so you're gonna get a full weekend off for once.
I might. There's nothing else coming out in theaters
I know.
intentionally. They
Gail
lose anything.
Daughtry's in theaters.
I could watch the Gail Daughtry movie. I could
Yeah.
watch
Have you seen
the
live
live
action
action Moana.
Nola Holmes?
Oh yeah,
3
I
yet?
forgot you haven't seen the Moana yet.
I could watch the Nola Holmes
yeah.
3 or the Heartstopper movie.
Yeah.
But I've never seen the Heartstopper
Oh.
show.
I
But
didn't
I've
know
heard
that
the
was a
show's
thing.
great.
The show is well beloved. Yeah.
I might watch it again. I am itching to watch it one more time. I
okay.
don't have like the Oppenheimer itch where I want to watch it like every week.
That's the
like,
thing.
Get me in and see Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
But I am in like that. I would watch it one more time if like everything kind of lined up correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we pivot to some other big questions, final letterbox score for the Odyssey. This will set up obviously our rankings.
Yeah. This is exciting because it's under embargo, so we haven't rated it yet.
This is true.
Oh,
no
yeah.
one's seen the
This
rating.
is like
You
live.
could break the embargo like a lot of people have already. And
I know.
rate it.
Boy,
I'm
people-
seeing a lot of
I'm
letterbox ratings
watching
from
and I'm paying
critics.
attention.
What is going on here? Where's the embargo police, huh?
Well, so what counts as a social reaction? What counts as breaking the
that's-
embargo?
That's the tricky
That's the
thing.
tricky
yeah.
thing. Like what exactly
The
is a
lines
social
are very
reaction?
blurred.
So what are we giving it? Who's ready?
I'll go.
Clara, you'll
Okay.
go? Clara, letterbox score for the Odyssey.
As of right now, no rewatch. I'm hitting it with a 4.5 and a heart.
Amazing.
Ooh, okay, wow.
Yeah.
Sid.
I think last night I was grappling. I was like, this is either a 4 or 4.5, but I think our conversation about it has maybe solidified that 4.5.
Perfect.
Joe?
Joe?
After my first watch, the Odyssey was at a 4.
Yeah, me too.
After my second watch, I'm at a 4.5.
House of Cinema, 4.5 star banger.
banger.
That's what we're sitting with right now. Yeah, a movie that has its imperfections here and there, and we've talked about them, and I'm glad we've kind of hashed them out because I
Yeah.
still feel like those exist, and I think they will continue to exist after multiple watches. But a lot to love here.
Yeah.
A lot to love here.
Cool.
That being said, now we can pivot into where does this fall in the great ranking of Nolan films?
Oh my God.
This is tough, dude. And I want to make things very clear on my Nolan ranking before we get into them. And I'm sure this disclaimer can apply to all of us. The worst Nolan movie is still a very good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if
wanna
I'd go
a-
very good.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay,
if I
well-
would quite that. It's,
Many of them are very good.
yeah.
Yes.
So I have mine ready, and I feel good with my ranking.
Okay.
So I will go first.
Okay.
13 films, and I will read them off in ascending order, starting with 13. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
In 13th, I have his debut feature Following. Then I have Insomnia. Then I have The Dark Knight Rises. I know. Hey,
Okay.
by the way, at 11, Dark Knight Rises and upward, we're talking 3.5 or above.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
I'm the same.
Cool.
Okay, just make sure we're aware of that. Dunkirk at number 10.
Okay.
Batman Begins at number 9. The Prestige at number 8. That's going to be a hard one for people to hear. I know people love The Prestige. 7, I have Tenet. 6, I have Inception. 5, I have Memento. 4, I have The Odyssey. 3, I have Interstellar. 2, I have Oppenheimer. And 1, I have The Dark Knight. That's how I'm feeling right now.
Wow.
We'll get into it just a second until we read all of ours and it's all out on the table.
Okay.
Can you repeat your top 5 again?
My top 5. Memento at number 5. The Odyssey at 4. Interstellar at 3. Oppenheimer at 2. The Dark Knight at 1. And I will say, 1 and 2 really interchangeable for me. I go through Monday through Wednesday, I'm an Oppenheimer guy. Thursday through Sunday, I'm a Dark Knight guy, kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's how I'm feeling. That's
fair enough.
That's my Nolan ranking. I don't think it's crazy. I'm sure Claira will surprise us. Go ahead, Claira.
Well, I was about to say we have some big differences and some big similarities.
Let's hear yours then.
Okay, I want to preface by saying everything from 12 on is a 3.5 or higher.
Okay, perfect.
Or well, actually, only the Prestige is at a 3.5. So
Okay.
11 and up are all 4 or more.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so in 13 I have Following, in 12 I have The Prestige, in 11 I have Memento, in 10 I have Inception, in 9 I have Tenet, in 8 I have Insomnia, in 7 I have Dunkirk, in 6 I have The Dark Knight Rises.
Wow.
I know. And then in 5 I have The Odyssey, 4 I have Batman Begins.
What? Okay, sorry.
Stop.
I keep interrupting you.
Stop bullying me! You're bullying me! You're bullying me! I love Batman!
That's true. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay. 3 I have Interstellar, 2 I have Oppenheimer, and 1 I have The Dark Knight.
Oh, same
So
top
we have
3.
the same top 3, but
Oh,
I'm in a
okay.
similar boat in that I feel sometimes a little swayed to put Oppenheimer in 1, but that just feels crazy because The Dark Knight is like the movie of my life.
That's
so
it's exactly how I feel too. And
it's intense.
you know, and people were calling us crazy for saying Oppenheimer is his best. Is that,
I know I
is
got
that
a lot of
hot-
flack for saying that's his magnum opus, but it definitely is.
Thought that.
Is it a hot take to say Oppenheimer is one of his best?
I don't think it's a
I don't know.
hot take, but
Clearly, internet's maybe things were crazy.
Maybe we just found the wrong
what do
pocket
you guys
of people.
think it is instead? I guess we'll find out soon
You know,
with the Q&A
once-
answers.
Oh yeah, with the Q&A we'll know.
True.
I actually already know because I did the Q&A, so
That's
I
it,
know
yeah.
the answer. But
All right, say let's hear it.
Okay.
Should be
Disclosure, I have not rewatched Insomnia.
okay.
So funny. I thought you were going to say Disclosure Day for some
I
reason.
disclosure day.
Disclosure Day haunts me
Wrong
wherever I go.
Okay. In 13, I have Following. In 12, I have Insomnia. In 11, I have The Dark Knight Rises.
Whoa, same.
Yep, same bottom 3.
Okay.
In 10, I have Batman Begins. And this
Okay.
onward is like 4 stars for me.
Okay.
In 9, I have Dunkirk. At 8, I have Inception. I'm not super high on Inception compared
I'm
to
not
some
either.
people.
You haters.
I never said
No,
that.
it's a great
You're
movie.
putting words
I
in
know.
our
I guess you just said
rankings.
4 stars.
Yeah.
or higher.
At 7, I have Tenet. At 6, I have The Odyssey. And this is like, probably won't go down, could go up with a rewatch.
Okay.
At 5, I have The Prestige. Just rewatched it. I do really love that movie. At 4, I have The Dark Knight. At 3, I have Interstellar. At 2, I have Memento, which I think is a perfect movie. And at 1, I have Oppenheimer.
Wow.
This is a fascinating,
so different.
fascinating top 13 from both of us right here. Or both, all of us.
I know.
I have so many things to say. The Prestige, I think, is good, by the way. I find it to be the one I don't enjoy the most rewatching.
I think
Really?
about it probably the least, other than
Okay.
like the following.
I think it's like Nolan's movie that is most about filmmaking, which I find really interesting.
That's a cool way to read it. I don't think
I
I've
like
approached
that.
it that
And-
way, which maybe I'll appreciate it more if I do.
But I watched it at like a formative time, I think. I really love the aesthetics. Like I love not only like as a period piece, but like the black hats and the black cats and the magicians and I just like really love all that stuff.
That's
And I think
fair.
it's like a good movie. I think it's a really sad movie.
Okay. I mean, hey, people love The Prestige.
Yeah.
I rewatched Interstellar the other night. I think this is the one movie in Nolan's filmography where either you see it at a formative age and it means a lot to you. When I saw it, I liked it a lot. And I've continued to have like a complicated relationship with it for a long time. But I've noticed that as I get older and more in my twilight years, I do find myself really gravitating towards it and a lot of its sensibilities.
Yeah.
It's so
And
good.
I think it's the most emotional Nolan has ever gotten. And it's maybe why I love it the most.
Yeah.
It just feels like just the one I can like fall into.
Yeah.
So Interstellar's really grown on me. Oppenheimer, obviously, we talked about. Dark Knight is Dark Knight. It's just like, the movie.
It's the movie.
It's the movie.
Yeah, so
It-
that's
you know,
what's interesting is that I wasn't at the age when it came out. That
I
it
think
wasn't
that plays
the
a
movie.
big
Yeah.
part in it.
I was
That's wild.
into Spider-Man 3 at that time.
Yeah, I mean, this came out. I was like 18 when it came out exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It got me into
Yeah.
movies in a big way.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger was such an important figure in my life. It really just kind of perfectly encapsulated a time in my life that meant
It's
a
a
lot
great
to me.
movie, but man, that performance, like unimpeachable.
Yeah.
it's like a perfect performance. It's
Every
crazy.
time you kind of forget about it, or you're like, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was, and you watch it, it's like, no, it is as good as you think it is.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
insane. Memento rewatch. That's a crazy ass movie, man.
It's bonkers.
It's a bonker
Yeah.
ass
He's doing
movie.
bonkers stuff in that.
Inception, I don't want to go too much into because we are having a whole episode on that this week.
Yeah.
So we won't go into that.
Yeah.
Tenet, how has this aged for you guys? Because some people will put Tenet very last.
And boy, do they.
Yeah.
I rewatched this over the weekend because I think during our Evil Dead Burn episode, I'd said I'd been thinking about it since I'd watched it and
Yeah.
it had warmed on me, but I hadn't revisited yet. And now I've revisited properly. And I do like it a lot more. Like I am still frustrated by good chunks of it, but I'm more willing to just kind of surrender to the ride, I think. It's a wild movie. Like
Yeah.
they're doing
It is
silly stuff in that too.
On rewatch, how are you feeling about it, Sid?
really good. I really liked Tenet from the get-go. I did have the experience. I saw it in theaters when it came out, and the first time I was just like, what the fuck? Because I could barely understand any of the dialogue.
Yeah, the sound
Yeah.
Mixing is
mixing.
not great.
Yeah,
The
it's not
mixing was
great.
tough. But now that I've seen it several times, I love Tenet, but it's not like, I rewatched it and now I just like get it and I think it's one of his best movies. Like, I think it's a little rough around the edges, but I still love it. I think just like conceptually it's awesome. I think the relationship between the protagonist and Robert Pattinson's character is like really beautiful. I think I appreciate
Yeah.
it more on rewatch. And man, some of the set pieces, and I mean the inverted car chase and the ending.
Boeing plane.
Yeah,
The plane is awesome. Yeah.
I really appreciated the ending the most, I think. Just like the buildings like blowing up inverted and it's fucking I'm like, how do you even come up with this? I think Tenet is very confusing.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Tenet is confusing for
Very
sure.
much so, yeah.
But in like the fun
I told
way.
you guys my hot take on Inception, right? Was that I thought that movie's as confusing at times.
yeah,
You
which I
did.
think is appropriate.
I
don't-
should send
I'm
you
not
guys a
questioning
picture.
it, though, but surrendering to it.
Yeah, Brendan has a book of the screenplay of Inception that also has like diagrams of like the plot and how all the plots like work and like the dreams work
Yeah.
in like levels and stuff. I should maybe
Maybe
you've
that'll
seen
help.
it, but
Yeah,
Clarify
it's just
why-
interesting to
Yeah.
see
What
how
exactly is
his
going on
brain
here?
because I said I was like man, like Nolan should have been an architect, and apparently he literally has been like, if I was to do anything else, I would be an architect. And so it's
That makes
interesting how
sense.
he creates these very like complex systems in like
Yeah.
an engineer brain sort of way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Batman Begins. It's a good movie.
I love
it's a
that
good,
movie.
it's a great movie.
It's so
It's
fun.
a great movie.
I don't have any qualms with it at all.
Yeah.
I
It
have
just
a great
falls
time
in the
watching it.
middle.
Yeah, it just falls in the middle.
That's fair.
I think
Why
I'm
doesn't,
honestly.
he uses Sonic bat call more in his movies.
Yeah, why doesn't he do
That
a
was
lot of
really
things?
cool.
That was a cool
'Cause
thing.
now
I
he
want to
has
see
really
more of
cool
that.
I flip flop between whether I like Batman Begins or The Dark Knight Rises more. I think like Rises
Oh.
has a lot of issues, I think, but I don't know. He's just doing some great stuff in that movie.
That's the thing.
Rises is the weirdest movie ever.
It is
It's like
really
one of
weird.
Nolan's weirdest movies, if we're
Yeah.
being honest.
But Nolan like
Not
loves
in a
that
derogatory
movie.
way. I just think it's a strange movie.
It is
that's all.
kind of strange.
Nolan thinks it's his most underrated movie.
Oh yeah,
He like
Good for
loves that
Nolan.
I
movie.
agree with it.
I can see that argument being made.
And seeing Bane as a teenager was like really big.
Yeah,
It was
it's
just
awesome.
yeah,
so
I
cool.
mean, the amount of time I spent like trying to mimic his voice with friends, we'll love Nolan for that. Solely
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
But Anne Hathaway as Catwoman,
Dude,
Boy, oh boy, is that good.
Hubba hubba.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I forget how much I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that movie.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
I like the Robin stuff.
I love
I
the Robin
love
stuff.
it. I
Okay,
love
thank
it.
you. Because don't
Yeah.
people
It's
think
such a
it's like
bummer.
super? Yeah, it does a little bit like, "What are you, some kind of Robin?" But I think it's like, I think it's super moving. Like when he's like, "I knew you were Batman because I just like saw myself in you." I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god!" Yeah,
I
so
think it's
good.
great. I love that connection. You know, Nolan. People like to oh, he's a serious filmmaker. He's also kind of a goofy guy. He does like I love Oppenheimer, I love it to death, but he does do like the MCU JFK reveal in that
I know,
movie.
he does
And
it.
it's still endlessly funny to me.
Oh my god, it's Einstein.
You know, it's the great moment where Alden Ehrenreich is like talking to Robert Downey Jr. and he's like, "What senator voted for it?" He's like, "Some guy out of what state is he from?"
No,
I can't
he goes.
remember.
He goes. Young kid from Massachusetts trying to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
Kennedy.
Yeah, what's his
John
name?
F. Kennedy. Some kind of Kennedy.
Some kind of Kennedy.
That's so good.
Like
He is.
He does
silly.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Oppenheimer's
Like-
got the suit up moment.
yeah, he does have this.
That's right.
hat.
Then
He's
grabs
putting the hat
pipe,
on.
puts the hat on. Yeah, yeah.
Silhouette.
God.
But watching his movies again, I also think that Nolan's like funny as hell. I was like dying laughing at so many, especially in the Batman movies when he's flying in the bat, like the big flying thing, and Catwoman gets in and she's like, "My mom always told me not to get into cars with strange men," and he goes, "This isn't a car."
See, yeah, it's good.
I'm a funny
That's
guy.
fucking hilarious.
He is funny. I mean,
so
Gonna
good.
love me.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
yeah. Man, I like you have some fight in you. What is the one in Batman Begins where they're like looking around? And he's like, "I'm here."
Here I am.
He shows up. And
Oh,
grabs
that
him.
when he's talking to Catwoman and then he turns around and she disappears and he's like, "So that's what that feels like."
He's a funny guy for
He's
sure.
funny.
He's
Dark Knight
really
Rises does have some of like my favorite like aura hype moments in all of the movies
Yeah.
too.
The opening.
The opening,
Yeah.
the opening's
The
great.
opening is insane.
Well, every Nolan movie has a great opening. Almost all of them have like a really cool cold
That's
open.
true. That's a cool like cornerstone of his work.
Yeah.
But in Dark Knight Rises is that great moment where because he's been missing for so long and he shows up for the first time, and like it's like an old cop and young cop, and they're in the car. And he's like, "Boy, you're in for a show today."
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I am for a show today." So, like, look,
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises is imperfect, but I still have a lot of good
Yeah.
time
Okay,
watching
good.
it.
Nolan,
yeah,
funny
it's so
guy.
fun.
I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago.
Yeah, like that shit's in
Classic.
the movie.
Classic.
Or Inception has one of my favorite funny moments when Tom Hardy
Yep.
and like Joseph Gordon-Levitt have that great like back and forth. But it's that great moment where they're like having a shootout, and he's like, "You mustn't be afraid to dream bigger," and he like takes out a bigger gun.
Does he say
Yeah.
darling or dear or
yeah,
something?
darling or dear. They need a kiss in that movie.
Oh, that'd
Yeah,
be nice.
it
There's
makes
honestly, there's a lot of his movies where the guys should probably just kiss.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's true. Anyways, that's a funny guy, that Nolan guy.
What a guy.
Yeah, I quite like him.
I quite like him as well.
Charmed.
I'm
That's
charmed by him.
That's our ranking. What do we want from the future of Nolan? And, I mean, he can decide, obviously, and I trust him with all my heart. But
Yeah.
what would you like personally to see him do next? You know, people are out there asking for the horror movie. Is that something you're interested in seeing?
I mean, yeah. It's the thing of like, I'll take anything at this point. But I am intrigued that he's done 2 in a row now that are like kind of like historical fiction. I almost want him to like go a similar route again with something to tie in with the Odyssey and Oppenheimer further.
I do like when
Oh,
he does
okay.
period pieces, surprisingly, because he's so like sci-fi forward. Honestly, I feel like I could not handle another Nolan movie at this moment. I don't know what a Nolan horror film would look like, but my first thought is like, I don't know. I really like when he incorporates horror elements into his films. I don't know if that's making me want to see him just like go full blown horror, I guess. But, you know, when we think of Spielberg, it's like, you know, War of the Worlds feels like a horror film, but it's not. When you think of a horror film, it's not like, oh, he's making fucking like The Conjuring.
The Conjuring. I know.
Yeah.
I'm not in this like space right now where I'm like, yeah, he needs to do like a paranormal story.
Yeah,
next,
No,
exactly.
yeah.
But I think if he does something adjacent to that, like, does he do like a Seven type movie where he can incorporate, themes of horror or different aspects of it to the film. I'm not really sure.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could he do another like like serial killer thriller like Insomnia?
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
revamp
Like
that?
Insomnia.
Yeah.
He hasn't done that in a while.
No.
If he wants to get back into sci-fi, sure, go for it. I'm never going to be opposed to that.
Maybe a time
I think-
traveling serial killer.
Oh,
That'd
fascinating.
be fun.
I gotta imagine, when people get older, they get more into nonfiction and historical nonfiction.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. What was the book called? American Prometheus.
Yep.
That's what it's called.
Yep.
So maybe he continues. He does like a trilogy of like the Burden Genius trilogy.
That's the thing. Yeah.
We go from Oppie to Odysseus. And then he's gonna do fucking I don't know who next.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. I think that would be really interesting.
Magnus Carlsen, the
cool.
chess player.
Oh, that would be
That's
really
fun.
cool.
I don't know. Maybe there's like a sports biopic of sorts, but like
Oh,
on like a
interesting.
non-traditional
Sports.
sport,
Yeah.
Okay.
like a chess player.
Like a chess player. I like that.
The tormented chess player. Who knows?
Cool.
Any other questions that you guys have for us to go over today? We've been yapping.
It's probably
Yeah.
gonna end up being our longest episode ever.
Ever?
Very, very
Wow.
fitting for a
Yes.
Nolan movie. It's a
Yeah,
good
I
movie.
was ready to just however long this is gonna be.
I
We're
know.
gonna have a
I
lot
know.
to talk
Hopefully
about.
you guys don't mind us yapping
Yeah.
away.
Hopefully it's okay.
Yeah.
I think we've come to the conclusion then.
I think so. I think we're all done.
Sid?
No, I think we got to all my questions.
I think we've got to all mine as well. That is the end of the Odyssey. We can
Cool.
close the chapter on Nolan's The Odyssey, Homer's The Odyssey. We can move on from that. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about The Odyssey in the coming months. Do we want to talk at all about Oscar potential beyond what we've already talked about? Like, I think we can all probably agree technical side of things, below the line, probably up the wazoo. in
Yeah, it's gonna get like
nominations,
everything. Yeah.
Acting wise, we think Anne Hathaway
I can see
nominee.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But is
Damon?
she lead?
Yes.
She'll probably
I think
campaign
they'd push her
as
for lead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damon lead, Hathaway lead.
Yeah.
I see them both nominated.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be some surprise? Like, is there enough like Zendaya hype that she sneaks in for supporting or something?
No.
No, I don't
If,
think so.
if anything, it'll be for Dune.
Yeah, if anything,
Oh, so
I
true,
agree.
so
It'd
true.
probably be for Dune.
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, Chani has a much bigger
You
role.
can get double nominated now.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you could.
You
it won't
can.
happen.
Yeah. There's no way
Oh.
that's happening with her this year.
It shut you down.
How dare you think that?
Why would you bring it up?
Yeah, I mean, I
You
think people are saying this is
Silly Ed.
like his Lord of the Rings. I think when I watch it, I'm not feeling like, oh, I'm seeing
What?
Nolan Lord of the Rings. I'm feeling more like I'm seeing like the Ten Commandments for the first, like,
Yeah.
or something.
I am as
Or
well.
like Ben-Hur. But I do think in terms of like Oscars, like it'll just be that big epic blockbuster that just like sweeps everything. I can
It'll
see
be
this
interesting
winning
to
Best
see.
Picture.
I can as
Oh,
well. It'll
yeah.
be really interesting to see how this movie does in the reaction to it versus Dune 3. Mm-hmm. Where that one is taking a much more similar path as Lord of the Rings in the sense of like the first two accoladed but ignored, and then the third one accoladed and winning everything.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be the really interesting kind of thing to watch.
Nolan has never won Best Picture.
That is a lie.
What did he win for?
Are we joking?
Oh, for Oppenheimer. Duh. He literally just did. I was thinking more like, because I know that The Dark Knight people feel was snubbed because it didn't even get nominated,
Well, the Oscars changed after that.
and then
Yeah,
they
they did.
changed. That's
Yeah,
right.
They never cited The Dark Knight as a reason, but we
Well, we know.
it's the reason.
We know.
We
what's
know.
going on.
We know it's the reason. Yeah, so
okay.
he has one for Oppie, but only Oppie, which is surprising.
Yeah, I get
Interstellar
Oppenheimer
never nominated.
blindness
No,
when I
never.
think about it. Okay.
Okay, we good then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Book has been closed. Odyssey done. Let us know how you felt about the Odyssey in the comments on YouTube and Spotify. We appreciate the conversations there. Keep it civil, obviously. And now we're pivoting to our Q&A segment of the podcast. If you're new here, well, welcome. Thank you for sticking around for however long you've been listening for. What we do on every public episode is that we ask a question at the end of the episode. You answer in the comments on Spotify or YouTube, and then we read it the following week. So last week, after we talked about Evil Dead Burn, we thought, well, we're going to talk about Nolan soon. We asked you at the end of that episode, what is your favorite and least favorite Nolan movie? For this episode, the question we're asking you and leaving you with today is, what movie are you now most excited for the second half of the year? Which is a great question to ask you guys, because next week we're doing a recap of the first half of the year. So
Cool.
That's the thinking on our end. So leave the answers in the comments, Spotify, YouTube, and or the Instagram story. Now for last week's question, I'm going to pull it up right now. I don't
Okay.
have it up.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds.
You got this.
What am I looking up here?
Evil Dead Burn listener
Evil
answers.
Dead Burn. Oh shit! I can't find it. Oh, I
We
spelled
can
burn
start
wrong.
while you're pulling it up.
No. I found it.
Okay.
Okay.
So many
Okay.
damn tabs open. Okay, here we go. All right. What the hell? Oh, this is least favorite.
Yeah, calm down.
I thought this was the most favorite.
No,
I think it's a
movie. I
what
was
the
like,
hell either way.
I kind of do too. It's interesting.
I don't know. Okay, here we go. A lot of answers here. Are we ready to read some of them off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Clara starts off today.
Oh, okay. Nick Downing says, favorite Nolan film has to be The Dark Knight, simply because it's an all-timer comic book movie that I come back to annually. There's a little bit of bias here, but my least favorite has to be Tenet because of the god-awful audio mixing that happened with the dialogue being completely washed out by background noise. Soured the movie for me because I was straining the entire time to hear the sequences where they're trying to explain the rules of the universe while big dramatic sounds happen.
Totally
just said
fair.
that. Yeah.
I saw it at home for the first time, had subtitles, didn't have that problem.
No, that happened to me
Yeah.
too. I watched it at home and I had subtitles and it was a breeze.
There are people out there who don't use subtitles. It's crazy to me.
I do find it fascinating.
I love subtitles.
They're so
if
good.
you're a non-subtitle user, explain yourself.
Yeah.
We'd love to know why.
Is
Anyways,
it my
go
turn?
on. Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, River O Plus says, I just watched Memento a couple of weeks ago. Still mind-blowing on each watch and super impressive storytelling from early Nolan. I haven't seen the Dark Knight series in a while, but I remember finding Batman Begins boring when I was younger. Maybe I'll get to rewatching them all before I see the Odyssey on Sunday. Okay, so that was a
Oh.
Memento fave
There you go.
entry.
Nice.
Love that. Okay.
turn?
Interesting.
Rich Serendipity said, my favorite Nolan movies are always changing between Oppenheimer and The Prestige. My least favorite is of his either The Dark Knight Rises or Following. I don't consider them bad per se. They're just the ones I find myself thinking about the least. With Tenet, at least, I have fun. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Tenet's a fun one.
fair.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kylie Emma says, longtime listener, first time commenter. Hi,
hi.
hi, Kylie. Welcome.
Hello, Kylie.
I love listening to the pod while walking or running in the mornings before work. Workout listener.
Wow, workout listener.
We haven't done a
Did we
workout.
hopefully our Odyssey conversation really got the blood
You know,
pumping.
the longest run of your life.
Running for 3 hours. Free me.
You're so inspired by our conversation. You're like, I can do it. One more mile.
What
one
is
more
this?
mile.
Some kind of long walk?
An odyssey of your own.
Yeah.
Kylie,
Keep going,
Kylie
keep going.
says, in terms of Nolan,
In
my
through your
favorite,
nose, out through your mouth.
Oh my god. Kylie says, in terms of Nolan, my favorite is tied between The Prestige, Interstellar, and Oppenheimer. Can't
Ooh.
pick just one when they're all juggernauts in their own right. That's fair.
Juggernaut. I like that word.
The great word. My least favorite is Insomnia, which I often refer to as the second best film set in Alaska. And then in parentheses, Kylie put
The Proposal?
The first, obviously, being 2009's The Proposal.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
I don't know any other Alaska movies besides The Proposal and Insomnia.
I think we probably know more. We're just not thinking. Is
We
Balto
just
in
don't
Alaska?
know.
It is in
Yeah,
Alaska.
I think of like
Balto,
I don't like Balto.
Ray.
I found out Balto is a fucking scam artist.
Okay, but,
The
but
whole
we're talking
thing's
about
a
the
lie.
okay,
Isn't
but
it a
we're
dog?
talking about the movie.
It's a lie, though.
I know, but the movie's good.
Togo is the better movie.
Togo is the real Balto.
Wait, Balto
what
is the
happened is-
animated one about the.
With Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
So you want to know this? You want to know the story?
I know the story. You told me this.
So what happened is that like Balto got all the credit that Togo actually did. Balto was still very important to the
They're
run.
real.
Yeah.
They were real.
They were real dogs.
Okay, I see.
And Balto got all the credit that was actually deserved to Togo because a reporter accidentally asked the wrong person. They're like, yeah, it's Balto. But it was really Togo who did all the work.
Oh my god.
And Balto got all the fucking credit that Togo did.
That's actually so fucked up.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
a
Stolen
bummer.
valor.
But the animated Balto movie is really good.
It's a really good movie.
It's a really good
I
movie.
wonder how Kevin Bacon feels about this.
Yeah,
Does he
does he
voice
feel
Balto?
shame?
Oh, does he feel shame?
Yeah, do you feel
He's
shame
going
for
on his
voicing
The
own
a
next
little
Claudia?
Odyssey,
Nolan
like,
movie is
repenting.
Kevin Bacon reconciling with giving a voice to Balto.
I want to ask. One day I'll ask Bacon that.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, that was your. That you
I
went.
did that.
So go ahead. Sid.
Okay. Leaning Tower of Cheesehead says, my favorite Nolan is Inception. The theatrical experience of that movie was mind-blowing. Probably the best audience reaction to a cut to black I've ever seen. Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that. The Inception era.
Oh, I remember that very well.
Really?
Yeah, in theaters, it was a big deal.
I'm jealous. And I still think it holds up incredibly well. It's not perfect, but damn close. My least favorite is Tenet. While I admire the technical mastery of the film and being a diehard Robert Pattinson fan, there was something that didn't connect with me with the movie. I've only seen it twice, and it's the only one I haven't seen in theaters. Interesting.
Wow.
I understand.
Jesse Dulay said, favorite Inception, one of the best heist movies aside from Ocean's 11 and Catch That Kid. Least favorite, Tenet. Sorry, Joe, I was much more confused. You guys are the best movie podcast out there. Oh, thanks, Jesse.
Oh,
that's
thank
nice.
you.
Appreciate that. No, I'm not saying Tenet's not confusing.
It's just, it's as confusing.
I just think when you like really get down to the nitty gritty of Inception, I really don't know what's happening.
I agree.
If you were to ask me how the final sequence plays out, like how it happens or like why it happens that way, couldn't tell you why.
When they're all like leaving the... Oh, you mean the final sequence with Cobb?
Well, Cobb and like he goes to limbo to get Ken Watanabe's character. I don't know how he gets out, and they still wake up.
We'll discuss.
On the
I
plane.
feel like that part of it's like a little bit ambiguous, which is why the ending, like
That's true.
there are like two possible ways that things could have gone.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we don't really know.
Okay, well we'll save it for the pod.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different pod.
Okay. I Love Penguins says Inception is definitely the gateway drug, but Oppenheimer really is his magnum opus and my favorite of his. I can hear the music. I'm listening. Now, Tenet is unfortunately my least favorite. I have the biggest FOMO because I just don't think I'm smart enough to understand. Maybe I need to
No, don't
revisit
think
a
that.
third time. I will say there's a trend. Everyone keeps saying Tenet's their least favorite, and then they go, because I'm dumb. And I don't
I hate
like
when
that
people
everyone
say
is-
that.
You're not dumb.
Everyone needs to
Don't say
not
that.
say that. Don't
It's a
say
confusing
that.
ass movie, dude.
Yeah.
It's yeah, like I love the movie, and I feel like I feel like Tenet is almost ununderstandable. Like, even though I understand the concept of what's happening, I watch the scene and I'm like, I literally don't think my brain can process someone going forward in time fighting someone who's going backwards in time. Like, we're
Yeah.
just not meant to like understand that.
And Nolan also doesn't expect you to understand it.
No,
That's
I mean,
why
there's
he
literally
says-
a line of dialogue in the movie where he goes,
Yeah.
You're not meant to understand it, you're meant to feel it."
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah.
So don't stress about
Don't
that.
Yeah,
stress,
so
it's
but if
okay.
you're not, you know, I think it works best if you let it just sort of like wash over you. But if you're not okay with doing that and you think that makes the movie worse, then that's also okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sid.
Oh, it was my turn. Cinnamon Cara Zero says, I don't have a clear favorite because I like most of them, but The Prestige is for sure my least fave.
Oh.
Aw.
T.
Hey, I don't disagree.
I don't disagree either.
At Boppy9617. I heard that's it. Favorite is Inception. I'm not really an action person, but I've been obsessed with the movie for years. I don't really have a least favorite, but my sister's shitty ex-husband was so intensely a fan of Oppenheimer that I haven't been able to stomach watching it yet.
Hey,
Okay, Boppy.
that's fair.
That's totally fair.
Get it.
That's very funny. Worth watching, despite
is.
the shitty ex-husband.
Yes.
Good movie.
Dijon says, this is hard because I've watched all of Nolan's films and I didn't love any of them.
Whoa.
... So I'll say my favorite is either Oppenheimer or Dunkirk. My least favorite is easily Tenet because there's zero complexity to any of these characters and it's Nolan's most egregious example of how poor he is at writing his female characters.
Is Tenet the worst example?
I think Tenet is up there
I don't
for
know
sure.
if it's the worst example. I like Kat as a character, but I do think there are she does get some funny lines of dialogue where they're like, the whole world is going to be killed. And she goes, including my son. And we're like, we get it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's the one I haven't revisited yet. Maybe I'll
Okay.
get to that later this week.
Cool.
Okay.
Your turn, Sid?
Yep. Literally, Quinn Fabre says, Tenet is fave and Prob's his best. Least fave is Memento. Hate it with a passion. Sorry,
Whoa.
Sid. Sorry, Sid. It's okay.
The
I
passion.
can understand people not liking Memento.
Sure.
To an extent.
I
Kinda.
can too.
Kinda.
Memento was like one of the first movies that got me into movies.
Really?
I have like a list of them, like a list of 10. It's one of them for
It
sure.
was one of
Yeah.
my first Nolan movies.
Same for me. Same for me. At Junebug64 said, my favorite Nolan film is Oppenheimer. I saw it open weekend alongside Barbie with my girlfriend. It's my favorite theater experience, bar none. When that bomb went off, I thought I was there, bro. My least favorite Nolan is probably Batman Begins, although I haven't seen The Prestige in a long time. I also never saw Following or Insomnia, so I could see any of these films replacing it. P.S. Shout out to Tenet. Can't believe he was waiting for his hot sauce for a whole hour.
Yeah, right. That's funny.
Very fair.
Great. Above average Mike says fave Interstellar basic. I know. Sorry. Don't apologize. Least favorite is Dark Knight Rises. That's fair.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. We're seeing a trend.
Heard.
Yeah.
SimChid6120 says favorite Inception. I had my third or fourth rewatch of it with my cousin recently, and it still blows my mind to this day. A lot of people saying their favorite movie blows their mind, which is a very Nolan effect to have. It is jam-packed with how the fuck did they do that scenes and sequences, and I think it's the best example of how Nolan can write the most convoluted and confusing concepts into a screenplay in the most satisfying way possible. Least favorite, The Prestige. I remember absolutely nothing about it. Literally all I remember is that Hugh Jackman is in it, and I think Christian Bale is too, and they're magicians. That is what's happening in The
That's
Prestige.
exactly
That's
the movie.
exactly right.
Nothing else happens.
Yeah, Nolan can really like make things clear that are super confusing. But I do think he overdoes it a little bit sometimes.
I
He can
see that.
over-explain.
AKA Tenet.
Yeah.
Some people say Interstellar is that way too.
I think
I have heard that.
Interstellar. No, actually, I think Tenet. But Tenet is like it's almost there is like a burden of like explaining what's going on. But there are a lot of scenes, even just with like the espionage plot. There's so many scenes where the protagonist sits down and someone's like, "You need to find this guy," and he's like, "Oh, this guy who does this and did this and this," and they're like, "Yes, very good." And I'm like, "Thanks, Nolan. Now I know who that is."
Well, I think he probably recognizes how confusing it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see here. Rosebud saves a cat. Oh, okay. Good for you, Rosebud. Not sure if I actually finished a Nolan film, but I have a special connection to the Odyssey because I played Circe in a school play. So I kind of want to see it.
You should go see it.
You should.
Oh, was
You
it
should
anything
go.
like movies or
Samantha Morton's?
Yeah. Good God.
Let us know.
Yeah. Parker says, I haven't seen a Nolan film in a while, but I should try and rewatch some before the Odyssey. But I'm not going to lie, I'm a truther for The Prestige, so that might be my favorite. My least favorite is hard because Nolan really doesn't have anything below a 4 stars in my opinion, but it's got to be Dunkirk for me.
Oh.
You know what? I like Dunkirk. I think it's different from his other films in that like he's not really focusing on the characters as much. But I think the like emotions he's tapping into are very much there. Like that's a stressful ass movie in like an impressive way.
It is. Well, it sounds like they still give it a 4.
Yeah, that's good.
Remember
Yeah.
what Dunkirk did to us, though?
What do you mean?
Dunkirk made us think Harry Styles was a good actor.
You know what? And I'm gonna say this as someone who ran One Direction fan accounts. I watched Dunkirk because Harry Styles was in it and because it's Nolan. But I came out of that and I was like, he should not do that again.
Oh,
So-
wow.
Bad at Dunkirk, though.
No,
He's
I don't
not
think
bad.
He was.
And I think he's also recognized he's probably just better at making music.
Why
Yeah,
did Nolan
probably.
do that, I wonder?
He said, I read a interview where
He's really lights up his life like no one else.
he was purposely trying to pick like actors who aren't known, and it sucks because like Harry Styles is very known,
He's
but
so
he's like, I want young British men to help convey like the guys on the beach were so young and
yeah.
you don't know them, like they're just these like
So I'm gonna pick the
I
guy
know,
from
the
the
Harry Styles
biggest
thing,
pop
no.
group in the
Two
world.
of them,
know.
I'm like, I don't fucking know who these guys are. And then just it's Harry Styles
Harry
is
Styles.
like tagging along.
That's funny.
I will say though, he like the casting on that tapped in a little bit because there's 2 of the younger actors from House of the Dragon are in Dunkirk, and they're House of the Dragon
Oh,
boys
really?
now. Yeah, I
Cool.
think that's interesting.
Everyone's watching that show.
Yeah,
Good, that's awesome.
No one here though.
Not me.
no one here.
I haven't watched the last, not 3. Maybe I haven't
that's
watched the last
funny.
2.
Whose turn is it? Your turn, Sid?
I think it's my
Yeah.
turn now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sign of the Fish says, I'm not as big on Nolan as others, I'd say, but my favorite is actually The Dark Knight Rises. Don't shoot me. We won't.
We
I
won't.
just
Okay,
think
should
this
you?
movie, it's a good movie. I just think this movie is an insanely good audio demo, and I'll throw it on whenever I get a TV or audio device for it. And least
Oh.
favorite is Dunkirk. Went to see it with friends when it came out, and after I watched it, I felt like the trailers sold me something different.
It's fair.
Okay, that's fair.
Interesting.
What is the fun fact about that one? Like the score every time there's like a tick, or is that Interstellar?
No, Interstellar, it's like every tick on Miller's planet is like like a day, and on
day or
Earth
something,
or a
like an
year.
hour. I don't know.
I thought he was doing something in Dunkirk with that as well. Like
He might have been.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
He does a bunch of crazy shit. Like in Inception, it's like when you're following in Tenet, when you're following the inverted people, like the score is backwards.
Weird. What a
Stuff
guy,
like
dude.
that.
So cool.
You think he does drugs?
Honestly,
he
looking
kind of
at
gives
him,
no.
No.
Yeah.
No, you think
No.
he's a straight
looks
edge
like
guy?
He kind
Yeah.
of does give straight edge.
You think he would like?
His wife is his drug.
Think he'd rattle
So
on? Like
true.
he'd tattle on me if I
No.
did
No,
drugs?
he
No.
wouldn't he's
Like, is
chill.
he a
Like he'll
narc?
like be there while you
No,
do
he's
drugs.
he's
Oh,
definitely
he'll
not a
be
narc.
there while
He'll
I
be
get
your
high, but
spirit
he
guide.
won't get high.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm good.
Okay,
but
but
you
he
have
won't
fun.
narc on me.
No,
No,
definitely not.
Definitely not.
As long as he doesn't tattle on me.
He's all about the noble lie.
Very true. Let's see here. Madison FSS. My favorite Nolan is boring, but can you blame me? It's Oppenheimer. Easily Chris's best, in my opinion. Why didn't you just call him Chris? He's best friends.
Besties.
Though, my secret favorite is Tenet, a movie I think that has been treated unfairly, and I hope to see get its flowers one day.
Oh,
My least favorite
and
would have to be
secret favorite.
Following, not because it's bad, but simply because it was bottlenecked by the fuel tools Nolan had at the time.
Yeah.
Would love him to see go back. Would love to see him go back to something small scale with his limitless modern tools and see what he could conjure up. Much love from Washington. Keep up the work. Good work, gang. Oh,
Shout out
thank
Washington.
you. Thanks,
Maddie.
Washington mention.
yeah, that is. I would like him to do something small scale.
yeah,
again.
small scale would be interesting.
When I
don't
watched
think he's
Memento,
gonna
it
do
was
that.
like, no, he won't. But when I watched Memento, I was like, this is nice. Like it's just like this little
Yeah.
thriller in a town, and I was like, this is not like some big world-ending epic.
Right.
You know,
That's fair.
go on, Claire.
Okay, Haley D. Arnold says Interstellar, my fave movie of all time. It's so special. Least fave Nolan is Following, his only dud.
Oh.
Young guy.
Fair.
Yeah.
Humble beginnings. Phil makes cocktails. That's fun. Says favorite is The Dark Knight. Least favorite, don't hate me, is Oppenheimer. But I have a lot.
Whoa.
I have a lot I have yet to see. That's okay.
Whoa. It's
It's
okay.
all right. It's all right. You have an opinion, and we respect it. Oh, I do. Why are you laughing?
I'm not. I just, you know. Go.
Congo said, my favorite is Inception. First of his I've ever watched. Still has a special place in my heart. Following is technically at the bottom for me, but next to it, I'd say The Dark Knight Rises. Still good, though.
Okay,
I
cool.
like how everyone likes to put that at the very end. Still good,
Still
though.
good, though.
It's
Well, and I'll add to that because Cammy Jammy says my favorite is Oppenheimer. I had such a great time watching it in theaters. Least favorite, easily The Dark Knight Rises. Worst on-screen death in a major film,
true. Oh, it is really bad.
which is it's really bad. But then Cammy Jammy says I still enjoy the movie though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Still good, though.
Marianne
good, though.
Cotillard, what is she doing nowadays?
I don't know.
She had like a hot streak for like 5 years.
She was,
kind of
yeah.
gone.
Wasn't she in? No, maybe she was just in Rises. She wasn't in like Tenet or something.
I don't
She was in
think so.
Inception.
Yeah,
and-
Inception.
But it
yeah.
wasn't
Dark Knight
Inception
Rises.
before. Was
Yeah,
Inception
it
after
was.
Rises? Or,
No, it was
no,
before.
It was before.
It's interesting. Nolan works with certain actors for like 2 or 3 movies in a row, and then not again.
Drops them like they're hot.
Yeah.
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 He said I
I'm
wrung
done.
out
Season
all
and a
your
reason.
I'm
talent.
done playing with you.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
So funny.
All right. Whose turn?
I just read that.
Your turn, Sid.
Okay. Aaron Ski says The Dark Knight Rises was always going to be a bit disappointing after The Dark Knight. Still good though. Inception holds a special place in my heart because that cast and the story just blew my mind. Blew my little mind.
Totally
Yeah.
fair.
Very fair.
Jason D said, I'm writing for Tenet. You would, Jason
Yes. We ride at dawn.
D. Writing
What?
for Tenet. 'Cause
Jason
D,
D.
you know,
Argonauts.
writes-
Oh.
Jason D. Argonauts. Jason D's Argonauts.
Trying to say say right now.
I'm just having fun with Jason D's name.
Okay.
I'm ready for Tenet. I love the concept, the performances, and my beautiful boy Robert. Honestly, could not pick a least favorite at the moment, but I haven't seen his full filmography. On the most reliable franchise, do y'all put 28 blank later above Evil Dead? Oh, I think it's 28 days later.
No, they put blank,
Oh,
but
'cause it's
because
28 years
it's
month.
different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, the 28 years later over Evil Dead, huh?
Oh
In
my
terms
god,
of, like,
how did we
most
not remember
reliable.
that?
I know
That's
we
a good
totally
point,
blanked.
Jason D.
I
Great
think
point.
I would.
I think I would as well.
I think I would as well.
Like I
Thank you for
still
calling
like
us out,
Weeks.
Jason D.
Weeks is still very solid.
I love Weeks.
Weeks is
Yeah.
good.
And I love both both Bone Temple and Years.
Yeah.
Do you remember how good Years was? That
Yes,
shit
I
was
do.
rough.
Years was
How would I
awesome.
forget?
Okay, great call out, Jason. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Andy says, I love almost all of them, seen all except Insomnia and Following, but my favorite is probably Dark Knight or Interstellar. Choosing one, ... Interstellar. Okay, we've made a choice, Andy.
Okay.
Okay.
Least favorite was Tenet. Had to do a rewatch, but I was still confused. That's okay.
Totally fair.
Very fair.
We all are.
Yeah.
Lorcan's Talking says, it has to go to Memento. Changed the way I viewed narrative storytelling, and the cinematography is outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
I
Guy
agree.
Pearce, so cool.
I
in the movie.
love Guy Pearce.
I love Guy Pearce.
Call me Guy Pearce.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Noel Osagi said, my favorite is Interstellar. Super original, I know. Especially after watching the re-release last year. I have never seen it in the theater, and the crowd was so respectful and in awe the entire time until the credits rolled. Least favorite is Oppenheimer. It didn't really move the needle for me as it did for others, unfortunately, but I can appreciate the achievement it was for Nolan. Totally
Okay,
fair, Nolan.
Very fair.
Totally
Very
fair.
fair.
Let's see. Louis G28 says, currently The Prestige is my fave, but my least fave is unfortunately The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, sad.
It's all right.
It's okay.
all right.
It's okay.
Oh no, Natalie says, it's my 3-year anniversary of listening to the pod.
Whoa, 3 years.
Wow.
Woo, 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 woo.
Yay, yay,
Thank
yay.
you.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
I know.
Thank you for being here. Controversially, Oppenheimer is my least favorite Nolan. It just wasn't for me. Lots of favorites, but Inception has a special place in my heart. It was one of the few
That's
films.
so exciting.
Yeah. It was one of the few films my family had on DVD, so I've seen it about 1 million times, and it was one of the first movies to get me excited about movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I feel like Nolan has a lot of movies like that for people.
Yeah.
Like the movie that got him into movies.
yeah, that's The Dark Knight for me.
Yeah, Dark Knight, Inception for people, Interstellar for
Memento.
people.
Memento,
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Haley here. What's going on, Haley?
Hi, Haley.
I love The Prestige. I probably didn't see it until 2015 or so, but I was the perfect age to see it, 18, and be completely floored by the twists and turns. It holds a special place in my heart. I revisit it often. Least favorite, Following, I guess, though I haven't seen it in a decade. Totally fair, Haley.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Z Grahowski says Dunkirk is a stinker, and people don't talk about that enough. That's not true. I feel like they talk about it all the time. And then they said Tenet is goated, people.
Oh,
Ooh,
go.
okay. All right.
Okay, all right, interesting.
How often do people like both Tenet and Dunkirk?
Oh yeah, will someone have a ranking of like number 1, Tenet, number 2, Dunkirk, number 3, Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah,
That might be the
something like
one
that.
Nolan order we don't see.
We'll never see that order ever. well.
Jesse Carmona says, totally did not realize I've seen most of Nolan's films, but I'd have to say my favorite is Inception. Seeing that as a teenager whose brain was still baking was so intense, and I remember watching it so many times trying to figure out what was going on. Also, I loved Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Least
another
favorite.
one he Woody dolled.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises.
Least
He
favorite is
only
probably
wanted him for Robin.
probably The Prestige. I think I get the appeal of it overall, but for me, it was a little too goofy and funny for what it was trying to pull off. Shout out David Bowie, Nikola Tesla.
I have a hot
Yeah.
take on that.
What is
What?
it?
I don't think he's very good as Nikola Tesla.
But he's like putting a lot of artists, music artists in his movies. I noticed.
Well, yeah, that has nothing
3
related
of
to
them.
what I said, but yes, correct.
To
He
be
is doing
exact.
that. Yeah, I just think that I love David Bowie as an artist, by the way. I
Yeah.
just don't think he's like very good as Tesla.
That's That's fair.
I don't know.
I think, I don't think he's like crazy good. I didn't even recognize him for a minute when he showed up in The Prestige because I totally forgot he plays Tesla. Yeah.
Okay, bud. Whatever you say. Okay, my turn, huh?
Yep.
Let's see here. Perf or Cell? That could be read differently. Don't know how. I recommend Martyrs and High Tension if you haven't seen them. High
yeah?
Tension is probably more quote unquote fun,
That's true.
but I can see scenes from both in my head pretty clearly if I try to. So definitely memorable. Claira might have convinced me to watch Tenet right at the end. I like movies that sit with you and build up as you reflect on them.
Yeah, I think Tenet is
Come
very
back to
much
us
with it. Yeah.
if you watched it.
Yeah, let us know.
Cool.
Okay, this is interesting. Eli Thomas, 17, says least favorite following, or maybe Tenet, favorite, The Odyssey.
Oh, you saw it already.
Our lone Odyssey answer that snuck in
Okay.
before the Odysseys come out. Eli, where did you watch it?
Eli.
Or is Eli being hopeful
you-
Oh, maybe.
and saying this will be my
Guessing.
favorite?
Yeah.
Do you think people will be disappointed because The Odyssey won't be their favorite Nolan movie? I had people like come to me saying like, "Oh, I was really disappointed The Odyssey wasn't your favorite Nolan movie,"
Oh,
and I was like, "What? What? This not to be? It's not like a slight on the film at all."
no.
Right.
That's interesting.
Because I kind of think that like the problem that Nolan has reached is that he's such a renowned filmmaker, and he holds such a special place for so many people that if his next movie or his new movie isn't the best thing he's done, people will find that disappointing for some reason.
He's washed all of
Yeah.
a sudden.
Right. Which, I mean, Oppenheimer was so, I mean, what were the odds that we were going to get two back to back, just like masterpieces? But not everyone thinks Oppenheimer
yeah,
is
yeah,
that
yeah.
good. So,
I don't know. I was just kind of
Interesting.
curious. Well, Eli, if you love The Odyssey, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
yeah.
There you
There we go.
go. Go ahead, Sid.
The film Fatale says, I love that name. Torn between Interstellar and Dark Knight for favorite, but least favorite is easy. Oppenheimer, unfortunate. Brownie face.
Uh-oh.
No, not Oppie.
Not Oppie.
Not Oppie.
Do you not hear the music? Fascinating. Okay, my turn, huh?
Yep.
Let's see here. Brianna said, my favorite Nolan has stayed the same since I was 12, and in my opinion, gets an unfair amount of hate. Inception. A rare, perfect balance for me, a blockbuster, action, and emotional gravity.
Wow.
Every performance battles for my favorite. Least favorite is Dunkirk. Sorry, Harry Styles.
And there's really like a group of people who really like Inception is very special to them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
so. Last round.
Okay.
Clara, go ahead.
Let's see. Amanda says, I'm so basic. Favorite, The Dark Knight Rises.
What? That does not make you basic at all.
Amanda, are you being sarcastic? Because then they go, least favorite, Interstellar.
Whoa, this is like the most unbasic opinion ever, by the way.
And then they say, sorry to the film community. You don't need to apologize. Live your truth. But that was the greatest lead-in.
Sorry for being
funny.
boring, but
Sorry for
here's
being
two
boring.
hot takes.
Here are two of the answers you never expected to hear.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
Interstellar at last.
I know.
Yeah, you never hear that, and I honestly would think that we heard that more because I feel like there was like an era of people like not liking Interstellar, maybe to go against the film bro thing.
It's had a weird life in that
Yeah.
there was that moment where people were kind of against it because of the film bro thing. Then people were like, just kidding, it's great.
After the
And then
re-release.
just recently, after Project Hail Mary, we were talking about how
Right.
great
Oh,
Interstellar
yeah.
was, and I feel like we're getting a lot of pushback on
We
like
were.
that movie's dumb. Project Hail Mary is way better.
That's
Yeah, because we posted a
right.
clip talking about comparing the two, and people were getting a little frustrated. Like,
Yeah.
no,
No
Project
one
Hail
liked
Mary's way
Interstellar.
better.
And
I
was like,
forgot
what-
about that.
What the fuck happened? Did we all
Yeah.
turn on Interstellar or something?
Yeah, I didn't get the
Yeah.
memo.
I
didn't
don't
get
know
the
what's
memo.
going on.
Put it in the shredder if I did, because I'm not going to listen to it.
Get out of here, buddy.
Get that shit out of here, man. Whose turn is it?
I just read
Oh,
that.
so Sid, last one.
Mallow says, I know it's not the popular answer, but my fave Nolan has always been The Prestige. I recently got to rewatch it in 35mm at my fave theater in the world, and it was such a special experience. Shout out Screenland Armor in KC. My least favorite is Tenet, not because it's bad, but because I genuinely have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that's
Totally
fair.
Prestige,
Um,
shout out.
All right, last one I'm going to read here is Kaylee Crabtree. So my favorite is easily Memento. My least favorite is Dark Knight Rises. Straightforward answer right there.
Very fair.
There you go.
Looking at the stats, the one movie mentioned the most for least favorite was indeed Tenet,
Yeah.
followed closely by Dark Knight Rises, Dunkirk, and following, then Prestige.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oppenheimer, Inception, Insomnia, Batman Begins, Interstellar, Memento. The Dark Knight mentioned the least amount of times, but mentioned twice as someone's least favorite.
Yes.
Wow.
Fascinating. Favorite, the most mentioned, shockingly, I don't know. Interstellar, 34 mentions. Then it's Oppenheimer, Dark Knight, Memento, Inception, Prestige, Tenet, making a appearance on
Middle
both
of
lists.
the pack.
Dunkirk, Batman Begins, The Odyssey, with one mention.
You skipped the Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, Dark Knight Rises with
it
4
was
mentions.
there.
Right here. Anything not mentioned? No,
Yeah.
these are all of them.
Nope.
Which one's not mentioned?
Oh.
For favorite, Following and Insomnia received 0 mentions as someone's
okay.
That
favorite.
makes sense.
For least favorite, the only film not mentioned was The Odyssey.
Fair
'cause
enough.
No one's seen it yet.
Fair enough. All right. That's it. That's the end of the podcast, everyone. Next
Wow.
week's Q&A again. What is your most anticipated movie for the rest of the year now that the Odyssey's over? Let us know. And this is it. If you stuck around this entire time, one, thank you so much. Everyone's yawning and stretching right now because we've been yapping for a long
Trying
time.
not to cough for like an hour.
Well, we appreciate you. If you can cough though, if you want to. Next week on the pod, we are recapping the first half of the year. So going through superlatives, our rankings, some of our favorite movies, least favorite, yada, yada, yada. If you could leave a review on Apple or Spotify, those help us out a lot. We would appreciate that. And then check out the Patreon. We have exclusive episodes every week. We cover one additional movie, and then we kind of have a day where we just yap and talk about movie news and just kind of fucking hang out. So
Shoot the shit.
We played the headbands game.
Oh yeah, we did do that.
Really fun game.
Very fun.
Had a great time. One of us was clearly really bad at it.
It was me.
It was no, it was Sydney. But it was a great time regardless. I won pretty easily.
It's true.
I think. I did.
You
were
won
pretty
the
quick.
fastest.
The
Yeah.
quickest one.
I feel like though, as we were going along, we're playing, and you kept being like, "Oh, I'm so off. Like I'm way off." Like you.
I was just those are just misleads to make you guys feel better.
Oh,
The real strategy is I was Odysseus. I was clever and figured it out early.
Oh.
Yeah,
And then you were
'cause
just asking
should wanna
questions,
be
ask
Odysseus.
That was Zeus's
That
law.
was
I had to be nice
the
to you
lesson.
guys. This is the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. Have a wonderful day, night, weekend, and we will see you guys next time.
Goodbye, listeners.
Bye bye.